Chapter 1. In Dixuan, Kyoto, inside a magnificent mansion. Jiang Wang rubbed his temples, looking around at the luxurious bedroom and the topless little maid sleeping in his arms. He suppressed the throbbing in his crotch, and after a brief moment of confusion as if he was doubting his life, he realized a fact. He transmigrated. The good news is that this gave him a second life when he should have died. The bad news is that he transmigrated and became an experience pack villain in the fantasy world. That's right, he is the kind of villain who relies on his status to bully others in the early stage, but in the late stage, he offends the male protagonist and is counterattacked and killed by his level higher to become an experience pack. This is not the most annoying thing. The most infuriating thing is that he has a brother named Fei Yanjiang who licks the heroine crazily. Who is the heroine? She is the official original wife with the aura of the protagonist. Even if there is a little danger, the hero will come out of nowhere to deal with it. And his dear Oyu Daodu, although he is the second son of the commander-in-chief of the 8 imperial guards in Kyoto, is only in love with the heroine. He has done countless things that are detrimental to the interests of the family and even poisoned his own father for the heroine. This directly led to the Jiang family losing their strongest fighting force at the end of the story, and even failed to issue orders to the imperial guards. Jiang Wang was brutally beaten by the male protagonist and finally nailed to the city wall. Sure enough, those who lick dogs will never die a good death. Jiang Wang squeezed the softness in his hand and admired the original body's strong physique. The Jiang family has been a military family for generations, and each generation has at least a third grade. In this generation, Jiang Wang's aunt even married the emperor. Although the emperor died early and passed the throne to the current empress, the Jiang family still has one of the most powerful voices in the court. Despite having such a good family background, the younger brother chooses to lick the heroine. Master! This is not good. The bedroom door was slammed open, and a young servant in a green robe and bright clothes tripped over the threshold and tumbled into the bedroom. Ah! The little maid in his arms hugged the quilt in panic and hid behind Jiang Wang, trembling. Ignoring the maidservant who was very good at making tea, Jiang Wang was more concerned about what happened. Lefu, what are you yelling about? If you have to fart, do it now. Jiang Wang tried to imitate the original body's tone of voice. Master, it's bad. The second master, he stole the master's military token and ran away. What? Where's my dad? Why don't you stop him? Lai Fu raised his head, which had been lying on the ground, and a dark circle under his eyes was clearly visible. The old master has entered the palace. The second young master was robbed, and we can't stop him. After calming down his anger, Jiang Wang recalled that this seemed to be the event in the plot and the source of the Jiang family's decline. The protagonist Lin Ping'an was originally a prisoner in prison. By chance, he was recruited to investigate the fake tax silver case that shocked Kyoto. With the assistance of the Imperial Observatory, he successfully solved the case and won the favor of Chu Keiwei, the most beloved female disciple of the Imperial Observatory's director. It's funny how the two met. It was just because Lin Ping'an found Chu Keiwei hiding under the altar and eating chicken legs while investigating a case. They fell in love at first sight. Chu Keiwei even went against the supervisor for Lin Ping'an. The reason why her younger brother Zhang Xing stole the military token was because Lin Ping'an was killed while solving a case in Zhangzhou, and was besieged in the city by the rebellious Zhuilai tribe, his life or death unknown. So Chu Keiwei encouraged Zhang Xing to steal the military token to support Lin Ping'an. It was also because of this incident that the Jiang family was punished by the empress, and Jiang Wang's original body also hated Lin Ping'an. I have to say, it's worthy of being a novel, it's worthy of being a template for the protagonist. He falls in love with every girl he meets, and he has concubines with all kinds of backgrounds lining up to send him away, and he can always turn danger into safety. A bunch of rubbish, bring your people and follow me. This idiot must have gone to find Chu Keiwei. Jiang Wang pushed the maid in his arms away, grabbed his robe and put it on, then hurried out of the house. Galloping on the streets of Kyoto, Jiang Wang waved his whip and kept whipping the BMW worth 3,000 taels of silver. The street vendors were frightened and fled in all directions, and their stalls, which they did not have time to clean up, were smashed under the horses' hooves. Perhaps it was the influence of his original body's memories, or perhaps it was because he was still not quite accepting of the world he had migrated to. Jiang Wang quickly took on the identity of a villain. He had wanted to do this kind of bullying and now he was very familiar with it. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the gate of Sishanjian. Disciples in white clothes were crowded in front of the door, on guard as if facing a great enemy. Xiaobao, get out of the way. An unlucky child from some unknown family rushed out from the crowd and was about to pick up a candied horse in front of Jiang Wang's horse's hoof. Seeing the innocent child about to be killed by the horse's hooves, the child's mother closed her eyes in despair. Ouch! The galloping horse neighed in pain. Jiang Wang used his legs to clamp the horse's belly tightly. Blood spurted out of the horse's mouth. With a painful neigh, the horse's body softened and fell to the ground. He rolled over to the ground gracefully, straightened his unharmed clothes, glanced at the horse that had been crushed to death, and spat at the frightened child with disdain. You useless thing, you killed my horse. Where's Lai Fu? Go and capture this idiot and his mother. You'll have to work for me for nothing for the rest of your life. Ignoring the crowd's comments, Jiang Wang pushed away the Sishanjian disciples who were blocking the door. What are you doing? This is the Sishanjian, outsiders are not allowed to enter. Hearing this, Jiang Wang raised his eyebrows and subconsciously kicked his disciple in the chest. This kick unconsciously used the mysterious energy and actually kicked the disciple away. The flying body knocked open the door of the Sishanjian, and the young disciple collapsed to the ground, holding his chest. Jiang Wang was a little surprised at his own strength. Was the original body so strong? He flew away without even using any strength? He suppressed the doubts in his heart, practiced his family's skills, and spoke loudly. The Astronomical Bureau kidnapped my brother Jiang Xing and stole the military talisman of the Commander-in-Chief of the 8 departments. I want to arrest the criminal now. I wonder who dares to stop me. The personal soldiers who followed him drew their swords in response, and the murderous aura of the army raged in the hall. They circulated their skills to protect Jiang Wang, and there was a faint sense of resonance. The hall fell silent in an instant. Chu Keiwei and Jiang Xing did not come out as expected. Jiang Wang couldn't help but twitch his lips. Well, it was because his original self was too soft-hearted towards his brother that his family was destroyed, and now he was playing hide-and-seek with him. Just kill him, since your father still has you as his son. Even if my father kicked me out of the house for killing him, it would still be better than dying. Okay, you really think I'm joking, right? Jiang family members, follow me upstairs to search. Search? Let's see who dares. Jiang Wang, don't go too far. As soon as he stepped into the door, a handsome young man in white clothes came out to block him. Fourth brother, you are here. Great, fourth senior brother is here to see how arrogant this guy is. Fourth senior brother, this evil boy injured junior brother Lu. Jiang Wang narrowed his eyes. Are you the fourth disciple of the supervisor? Xinzia waved the folding fan in front of her chest and smiled confidently. That's exactly what I said. Before he could finish the 3 words, this young master, a shining saber chi came towards him. In a panic, Xinzia used the folding fan in her hand to block it. Jiang Wang and he had fought before, and their strength was not much different, but he would be able to defeat Jiang Wang with the meteorite iron fan made by the supervisor. The corners of his mouth just curled up, but the smile froze on his face. A huge force came from the fan handle, and even if Xinzia used all his strength, he still felt that the meteorite iron fan was about to slip out of his hand. Click! With a crisp sound, bright red blood bloomed in the light of the knife. Xinzia was holding half of the fan handle, with a hideous knife wound on his chest. You! How can you be the 4th grade? The disciples' smug smiles all disappeared, and the eerie silence returned to the hall. Chu Keiwei and Jiang Xing, who were hiding on the 2nd floor and secretly observing, broke out in cold sweats. Lai Fu widened his eyes and looked at Jiang Wang in surprise. The personal soldiers who followed him raised their heads unconsciously, this was the pride of their Jiang family. Jiang Wang looked at the sword in his hand in confusion. It seemed that his original body only achieved the 4th grade realm at the end of the story. Chapter 2. The realms of those who practice martial Dao in Dixuan Kingdom can be divided into 9th grade, 1st grade martial saint, 2nd grade martial emperor, 3rd grade martial sovereign, 4th grade martial emperor, 5th grade martial spirit, 6th grade martial madman, 7th grade martial master, 8th grade martial artist, and the lowest grade 9th grade martial warrior. The so-called 1st grade first layer, there is a rank 1 mountain, and each 1st grade is divided into rank 3 sections. Although the Jiang family is a martial Dao family with countless resources for training, Jiang Wang is indeed a child of destiny. He is already a dragon among men when he reaches the 5th grade before the age of 30. But even Jiang Wang himself could not have imagined when he had broken through to the 4th grade. The gap between the 4th grade and the 5th grade is something that many geniuses cannot break in their lifetime. The name of Wuzong is enough to establish a school of thought. Gathering his thoughts, Jiang Wang stepped into the Sishinjian step by step with heavy steps. Xinziu covered his wound and took a deep breath unconsciously. Jiang Wang gave him such a strong sense of oppression, as if he was not facing a human being, but an evil ghost crawling out of hell who wanted to eat his flesh. Jiang Wang, stop right there. This is the Tianjian. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the Jianzheng? I am arresting criminals, but you guys are not cooperating. Even if the warden comes, I will ask him how he taught his apprentice. In his impression, the chief astronomer never asked about the trivial matters of the Sishinjian. Although he was one of the best masters in the Dixuan kingdom, he would not lower himself to attack a junior like him. Why don't you come out, Zhang Xing? Do you want me to invite you in person? Jiang Wang finally stopped. After all, the Imperial Observatory involved royal secrets, so he couldn't do anything stupid. As the words fell, a door on the 2nd floor was quietly pushed open. What came into view was a girl wearing a goose yellow long dress, with a beauty as white as plum. Zhang Xing followed Chu Keiwei and walked out timidly. Elder brother. A faint sound came out from between his teeth. Jiang Wang smiled and said with a little pampering. Come here, brother. Where is father's military token? How could you listen to that wild woman outside and take father's things without permission? Zhang Xing's face flushed, and he lowered his head and walked in front of Jiang Wang. Brother, Keiwei is not a wild woman. She just wants to borrow the military token to save her friend. I will return it to father. Please don't ask for it back, okay? He smiled and touched Zhang Xing's head, patiently wanting to give his brother a chance to face reality. Do you know what crime it is to privately mobilize the Imperial Guards? How many eyes are on our Jiang family in the court right now? And you want to use your father's career to help an outsider? Brother, Keiwei is not an outsider, I like her. Keiwei said that if I helped her this time, she would agree to be my friend. Jiang Wang's eyes were full of teasing, and he looked coldly at Chu Keiwei who was still standing upstairs. Even a 3-year-old child knows that only friends can borrow things to play with. How come my brother tried so hard to steal the military talisman to give it to ABCH who is not even a friend? Jiang Wang, stop slandering me. He did everything of his own accord. Lin Ping'an is a man of great talent. He shouldn't have died now. Oh, who is Lin Ping'an? Why do you care so much? Could it be that the 6th disciple of the head of the prison is also attracted to a man? Your hair hasn't grown out yet. Jiang Wang's frivolous tone made Chu Keiwei blush with anger. Brother, don't say that about Keiwei. She is not that kind of person. They are just ordinary friends. Zhang Xing defended anxiously. This bootlicker Zhang Xing is still making excuses for his goddess at this moment, not knowing that Chu Keiwei has already fallen in love with him and is just short of having S*X with Lin Ping'an. Shut up, where's the military token? Take it out now. Do you have to wait for father to come down from court to get it in person? Hearing this, Zhang Xing took 2 steps back nervously, pulled out a dagger and put it on his neck. Brother. The military token is not with me, and I can't give it to you. Just pretend you don't know whether this is a good idea or not. When father comes back, I will take all the blame. If you insist on taking the military token, I would rather die here. As he spoke, he pushed the dagger forward 2 inches, and blood instantly flowed out from his neck. Hey, eldest master, please persuade the 2nd young master. Don't let this happen because of a woman. 2nd young master, let's talk it out. Lai Fu was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. If Zhang Xing really died here, the servants like them who were in charge of the military tokens would definitely die a miserable death. You're threatening to die, huh? What a true love. I'm so moved that I almost cry. He covered his face with one hand, pretending to be heartbroken. In that case, I have only one request, Chu Keiwei. My brother is willing to sacrifice his life for you. If you really have feelings for him, then you two can get married here today with me as your witness. The military token is the foundation of our Jiang family. We Jiang family members will not give up everything for an unrelated outsider. As long as you join our Jiang family, we can lend you the military token. We Jiang family will bear the punishment of the Empress. There was a glimmer of hope in Zhang Xing's eyes, and he looked at Chu Keiwei with joy. Chu Keiwei just stared coldly at the people below, her expression still stiff and as if it had nothing to do with her. What? You want us to bleed, but you don't want to lower your proud head, right? Is there something about Jiang that is not worthy of you, or is it that my Jiang family is not worthy of you? I'm sorry, Mr. Jiang, I don't have any feelings for Jiang yet, please don't force me. The cold words were like a bolt from the blue, and Jiang expression was visibly disappointed. Humph, what are you still standing there for? I don't like you. Give me the military token back. Jiang gritted his teeth, tears welling up in his eyes, but he still didn't move a step. Instead, the knife pushed in 2 more centimeters. Brother, I still can't return your military token. Even if Kwei doesn't like me, I only love her in my life. As long as I treat her well, she will always understand my true feelings. Damn, silly. Jiang Wang couldn't help but curse in his heart. There is really no cure for this bootlicker. Fei Yanjiang really deserves to die. In that case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Okay, Jiang. My Jiang family gave birth to you and raised you. We provided you with the best resources. Now you are threatening to die for a woman, right? Since you insist on licking this woman, from today on you are no longer my brother Jiang Wang. After all, we are from the same mother. Your mother died early because I didn't educate you well. Let's stop here with the military token. Leave your supreme bone to me. From now on, we brothers will go our separate ways. Don't say you are a member of the Jiang family outside. Jiang's face was pale, his legs were trembling, and he almost fell to his knees. Supreme bone is the foundation of the Jiang family's continued prosperity and its standing in Kyoto. All the blood of Jiang family are born with a supreme bone between the ribs and the chest. This bone is like jade, contains unique secrets, and will continue to grow at a speed higher than the host rank 1. Why did Jiang Wang insist on taking his supreme bone? It was because in the late stage of the plot, Jiang actually dug out his supreme bone to heal Chu Kwei. Perhaps it was the effect of the protagonist's halo. Chu Kwei did not have any rejection reaction after transplanting the supreme bone, and her realm improved rapidly, becoming the male protagonist's right-hand man. He also used this supreme bone as a model to learn how to counter the Jiang family's secret techniques. Jiang Wang does not have much blood relationship with his younger brother, so he can let him go for the sake of his father's favor, but the supreme bone must be taken away, otherwise this bootlicker will definitely kill him in the future. Make your choice. Either hand in the military token and come home with me, or leave the Jiang family and follow your goddess. Jiang Wang said coldly. The dagger in his hand was trembling. Jiang turned his head with a pale face and looked at Chu Kwei from a distance, who was still standing upstairs and refused to come down. It was as if he wanted to find a trace of concern on her face, but all he got was disgust and anxiety. What is she anxious about? Oh, by the way, we have to set out quickly to rescue Lin Ping'an. I can't let Kwei be sad. If Lin Ping'an died, she would definitely cry. Yes, it's all my fault. Big brother has given me a chance, I have to hurry. The dagger left Jiang's neck and slowly moved to his chest. I didn't dare to take action for a long time. Jiang, are you going to dig or not? Can you please stop dawdling? I have something important to do. Chu Kwei's icy voice was the last stone that broke Jiang's heart. The sky turned, and the jade white bones were cut out from his chest. Chapter 3. The supreme bone was taken out from Jiang's chest, and it actually emitted a faint glow in broad daylight, without a single drop of blood hanging on the white bone wall. The enemies of the Jiang family had never killed people for their bones before, but the magic of the supreme bone was that when a person died, the bones would be destroyed, and only bones that were voluntarily removed could emit spirituality. This was the protection of the Jiang family's ancestors. Jiang handed the supreme bone to Lai Fu. Lai Fu took it with trembling hands, and cold sweat wet his back. If the master knew that he had lost the military token, and it led to the situation of the Jiang brothers killing each other today, he would probably lose his life. Jiang, who had his supreme bone removed, had his qi weakened several times. He used his skills to stop the bleeding, bowed to Jiang Wang, and staggered towards Chu Kwei. Jiang, your elder brother is like a father. Today, I will take your supreme bone on behalf of my father and deprive you of your noble surname Jiang. From now on, the life and death of the Jiang family has nothing to do with you. The 20 years of raising you have been written off. You can go help your goddess now. Jiang Wang was able to give in on the matter of the military token because he had a backup plan. The 8 imperial guards could not be mobilized with just a military token. At most, a few thousand soldiers could be transferred. This matter could be covered up by giving advance notice and using the name of military training. Besides, news from Lin Ping'an should be coming back soon. This incident is just the beginning of the protagonist's efforts to subdue the remnants of the Julai tribe and build up his power. There is no risk at all. Kwei, let's go and rescue your friends. Don't worry about me. Jiang Xing took out the blood-stained military token from his arms and handed it to Chu Kwei. Chu Kwei used her internal energy to evaporate the blood on the military talisman and felt something strange disappearing from her body. Jiang Wang felt a burning sensation on the supreme bone on his chest. His cultivation had actually improved a little. Looking inward, the spells secretly carved on the supreme bone became clearer. Is this the luck of heaven? At the same time, in the distant Zhangzhou, Lin Ping'an and the governor of Zhangzhou are besieging a 6th grade master. The two of them actually suppressed 6th grade with their perfect strength. It must be said that they are indeed the template of the protagonist. Just when Lin Ping'an found an opportunity and seriously injured his opponent, an indescribable feeling of discomfort surged from his chest, causing him to be a step slower in avoiding the enemy's fatal blow. Puff! After suffering a heavy blow from the enemy, Lin Ping'an fell to the ground, covering his wound. The prefect of Zhangzhou took the opportunity to cut off the enemy's head. Ping'an, how are you? I'm fine. Maybe my luck went wrong and I lost my strength. At this point, the Zhangzhou rebellion ended successfully with Lin Ping'an being injured. Let's go back to the Sishanjian. Since Jiang Xing refused to repent, Jiang Wang took back the supreme bone and left with his men. Chu Kwei had just put away the military token when she suddenly had an idea and took out a jade message slip from her waist. The jade slip glowed brightly, and it was obvious that there was news. Chu Kwei became happier and happier as she looked at him. Her cold face turned into a bright smile, but then a hint of worry appeared on it. This was obviously a message from Lin Ping'an. That's great. Brother Ping'an is fine. He even killed the leader of the rebels. Brother Ping'an is awesome. The happy words were full of innocence, completely disregarding the feelings of Jiang Xing who was standing in a daze beside him. Kwei, then shall we still go to Zhangzhou? No, Brother Ping'an has already left for Beijing. Oh, by the way, thank you, Jiang Xing. I'll return the military token to you. You should go and ask your eldest brother to take you back to the Jiang family. Holding the military token with a hint of warmth in his hand, Jiang Xing was confused. Can he still go back home? Miss Kwei, are we friends from now on? My eldest brother won't let me go back. Can I work with you? Jiang Xing pleaded humbly with a last glimmer of hope in his eyes. Chu Kwei put her index finger on her chin and thought for a while. Well, I don't think we can be considered friends. You see, I didn't use your military talisman, and my master told me not to make friends with outsiders. If you want to join the Imperial Astronomical Bureau, just take the exam. It's possible for you to be assigned to any of the brothers. Don't keep an eye on me. Well, you think about it first. I'm going to go prepare a welcome party for Brother Ping Ano, you should find someone to clean up the broken door and the mess, or the master will scold me when he comes back. Desperate. Like a fish on the shore, Jiang Xing felt like he couldn't breathe. Why can a 15 or 16-year-old girl say such vicious words? Tears finally burst out, and my chest hurt even more, not only the wound but also my heart. Everything went dark before his eyes, and Jiang Xing fell to the ground unconscious. Jiang Wang and Lai Fu sat at a tea stall outside the Sishanjian, drinking tea that cost 1 penny a bowl, completely ignoring the tea stall owner who was almost scared to death. Looking at Chu Kwei jumping out of the Sishanjian, Jiang Xing realized that he didn't get to lick the goddess's stinky feet in the end. I couldn't help but sneer. What kind of love is everlasting? It's so fragile. My stupid Ou Daodu, why do I have to be a bootlicker? Lai Fu suppressed his nausea, swallowed the tea in his mouth, and asked quietly. Master, do you want to take Master back home first? The Master is about to leave the court, and this military token. Let Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu do it. It would be too ostentatious for you to show up. Go back and tell the servants at home not to discuss what happened today in private, otherwise I will break their legs and kick them out. Lai Fu shrank his neck and quickly responded. Jiang Wang and others are here to confirm one thing. The heat of the supreme bone on my chest just now seemed to be no illusion. The quality of this bone seems to have improved again. After the transmigration, some things seemed to have changed, such as the cultivation level. In the original novel, Jiang Wang neglected cultivation, and even with the support of the family supreme bone and countless resources, he only managed to break through to the 4th grade at the age of 30. Now, for some inexplicable reason, he had achieved 4th grade ahead of schedule, which gave him many new ideas. 4th grade Wuzong, I can also get a high position in the court. With an official position, if Lin Pinggan really wants to deal with me, he will have to be wary of the ministers in the court. It would be safer if I become a favorite of the Empress. Also, this supreme bone seems to have reached the quality of 3rd grade. Doesn't that mean that by activating the secret technique, he can briefly fight against 3rd grade? Jiang Wang's eyes lit up. If he had this ability, at least in the early stage he would not be an experience bag for the protagonist's growth. The next goal would be to persuade his father to get rid of Lin Pinggan. I don't believe that 2nd grade can't kill the protagonist. Lefu, is the imperial examination going to be held in a few days? Jiang Wang asked after taking a sip of tea from a large bowl. Lai Fu's eyes opened wide and his mouth opened. Young master, have you finally thought about becoming an official in the imperial court? God has a good eye, and the Jiang family has a successor. Shut up, don't act like I'm dead, young master. Go sign me up, my second son is crippled, and I have to give an explanation to my father. Chapter 4. The Jiang family mansion is brightly lit tonight. The night watchman Lu Wu happened to pass by the Jiang mansion as usual, and casually struck the gong in his hand, trying to break the silence of the night. It's dry, be careful. As if his neck was being strangled, a tense murderous aura wet the collar of his shirt on the back. The 2 gatekeepers of Jiang mansion stared at Lu Wu angrily, forcing him to swallow the words that were about to come out of his mouth. Shan Shan realized that the atmosphere in the Jiang mansion was not right tonight. He didn't dare to say a word, but bowed and nodded to apologize to the 2 gatekeepers, and before they could say the word get out, he fled the street in shame. In the Jiang mansion, Jiang Wuxian sat in the main seat and drank tea without saying a word. Under the seat was Jiang Wang, who was kneeling on the ground, his whole body tense and sweating profusely. Murderous aura, my father's murderous aura has been targeting me for 2 hours. He probably won't realize that I'm a transmigrate and will want to kill me to avenge his sons. Boom. As the sound of a gong broke the silence of the night, Jiang Wuxian finally spoke. What did your mother say when she died? Is this how you take care of your brother? Old second's actions will eventually harm our Jiang family. Jiang Wuxian groaned softly, and the teacup in his hand shattered in his palm. Oh no, I had some preconceived ideas. Except for myself as the transmigrator, no other character in the plot knows the threat that Lin Pinggan poses to the Jiang family. Only Father Jiang Wuxian knew the secret of the Jiang family's intention to change the dynasty, and Lin Pinggan had just begun to emerge at this time. It was not until the late stage that Lin Pinggan was entrusted by the Empress to investigate the remnants of the Jianan clan 10 years ago, and discovered that the Jiang family had the intention of rebellion. At this time, the Jiang family was still loyal to the Emperor, and Jiang Wang was just a spoiled brat in his father's eyes. The murderous aura from 2nd grade became stronger. Jiang Wang gritted his teeth and decided to confront his father. Boom! Mobilizing the family's secret method, the supreme bone on the chest glowed so brightly that it seemed as if the light could penetrate the body. The Jiang family's secret method is called the art of conferring the gods, which can borrow the power of the supreme bone on the chest to forcibly raise the cultivation level to the same level as the sternum. His cultivation level skyrocketed, the floor beneath his knees cracked slightly, and mysterious energy flowed out of his body, condensing into the shape of a giant bear behind Jiang Wang. Jiang Wuxian raised his eyebrows slightly, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Dad, I'll just say what I want to say. The brief acquisition of 3rd grade cultivation gave Jiang Wang a chance to finally take a breath, calm his mind and carefully recall Jiang Wuxian's character. It seemed that Jiang Wuxian had never concealed the fact that he and Jiang Xing were plotting a rebellion. It was just that his previous life was too stupid and only knew how to practice martial arts and have fun, so he didn't understand his father's plan at all. The rise of our Jiang family should never be ruined by a fool. My father's ambition cannot be exposed to the public now. It was as if he was meeting his eldest son for the first time. Jiang Wuxian never thought that such words would come out of Jiang Wang's mouth. When did you know this? What does this have to do with you crippling your brother? Seeing Jiang Wuxian's response, Jiang Wang realized that he had made the right bet. Jiang Xing is obsessed with Chu Keiwei, the 6th disciple of the supervisor. This is nothing. Except for the one sitting on the high platform, all other women are worthy of my Jiang family. But the mistake is that Jiang Xing has no bottom line. He actually did something as crazy as stealing the military token to give to Chu Kaiwei to save people. The director controls the astronomical observatory alone, and even predicts the celestial phenomenon for the Empress every year, praying for good weather and good harvests. Why would he allow his favorite sixth disciple to get so close to that Lin Ping'an? Jiang Wuxian was obviously interested. He sat up straight, restrained his murderous aura, and pointed at the chair. Go, sit down and talk. Jiang Wang shook his head. With his original personality, he would never be so obedient. Forget about sitting down. If you are not satisfied with my analysis, you will ask me to kneel down again. It will be too troublesome to go back and forth. I heard you mention this Lin Ping'an tax case. Although I don't know if my Jiang family is involved in the tax case, this man is definitely not an ordinary person because he solved the case within 3 days. The Ministry of Justice, the Supervisory Council, and the 4 great detectives are all in Kyoto, so why did they send a dying criminal to do it? And they also sent the supervisor's disciples to assist them instead of sending professional personnel from the Ministry of Justice. Jiang Wuxian nodded and motioned for Jiang Wang to continue. So I boldly speculate, could it be that the old man Jianzheng saw something when he was fortune-telling? Is Lin Ping'an the Jianzhen's chess piece or the Empress's knife? If it is a knife, who is it aimed at? Let's take a step back. After Lin Ping'an was released from prison, he should have gone to the Ministry of Justice. Why was he directly transferred to the Night Watchman directly under the Empress? He was said to be going to Zhengzhou to investigate the follow-up of the tax silver case. How did he happen to encounter the rebellion of the Zhuilai tribe? All of this is like a big net, and I don't know who it is going to catch. Jiang Xing's inexplicable obsession with Chu Kaiwei makes me feel like this net is prepared for my Jiang family. After finishing the argument, Jiang Wang breathed a sigh of relief. These contents were not made up by him. They were based on his recollection of the plot, his own speculation and his guesses about Lin Ping'an's subsequent behavior. After all, although the fantasy novel in his previous life was very popular, he transmigrated it before he could see the finale, and he didn't know who would be the chess player in the future. There was silence for half a cup of tea. Jiang Wuxian still said nothing. After thinking for a while, Jiang Wang stood up and was about to leave. Before leaving the door, Jiang Wuxian finally spoke. Wanger, you've worked so hard. In the blink of an eye, you'll be in 3rd grade. Your father is very pleased. Jiang Wang was delighted, it seemed like it was a safe bet. But he still replied calmly. I can't say it was hard work. After all, he is my brother from the same mother. I was too harsh and didn't take good care of him. Jiang Wuxian stood up and waved, interrupting Jiang Wang. I will investigate Singer's matter. He is not the type to be obsessed with women. You have done a good job in this matter. Giving the outside world a false impression can make our enemies relax their vigilance. There are many things I haven't hidden from you brothers. It's just that the time is not right for me to tell you. I didn't expect you to keep it in your heart. I heard you're going to take the imperial examination? Why do you want to hang out with those poor scholars? Pursing his lips, Jiang Wang still spoke out his plan. Your achievements are too great to be tolerated by the Empress. Given your official position, the Empress will not allow my brother and I to lead troops again. We have basically reached the top of the military alliance. In recent years, the military officers and civil officials in the Great Xian Court have been at odds with each other. I want to join the civil service to win over some people. Jiang Wuxian closed his eyes and thought for a moment. According to what those scholars said, they either value a family of scholarly virtue or a family of great Confucian scholars. If you hang out with them, you might suffer some injustice. Oh! Jiang Wang sneered. Dad, I'm not used to being bullied. I'm afraid these corrupt scholars won't let me get beaten. Ha ha ha, good boy, then just have fun on your own. With your father here, those old men won't dare to touch you. I'm going to take your brother out for a few days. You dug up his supreme bone and took away his last name. I won't persuade you to rescind the punishment, but your mother's last wish is here, so I can't just ignore him. I will find a place to train him well. From today on, there will be no Jiang Xing in the Jiang family. There will only be Lu Xing. It seems that even though my mother's surname had been changed, my father softened his heart. Everything is arranged by my father. Chapter 5. In the early morning, birds are singing and flowers are blooming. Pushing away the little maid who was wrapped around his neck like a koala, Jiang Wang opened the window sleepily. Another beautiful day has come. After dealing with that bootlicker brother, I should have won an opportunity for secret development. Master! Lai Fu suddenly came out from under the window, giving Jiang Wang a fright. Jiang Wang cursed with a slap on his face. Lai Fu, do you want to die? Do you? You want to scare me to death so early in the morning, don't you? Master, I was wrong. I was just too anxious. Of course, Jiang Wang would not really blame this servant who had been loyal to the Jiang family since Jiang Wang was a child, served the Jiang family and even died for the Jiang family. Tell me what's going on. Why are you so flustered? Lai Fu rubbed the bump on his head and spoke in a flattering tone. The Lin Ping'an you asked me to keep an eye on his back. It is said that he brought back the July people. The Night Watchman and the Imperial Astronomical Bureau have sent people to the dock to greet him. Rubbing his chin, Jiang Wang recalled the plot. After Lin Ping'an put down the rebellion in Zhangzhou, he returned to Kyoto with Li Muir, the princess of the July tribe who was willing to surrender. Because the July tribe had made great contributions in the wars with Huang Taizhu in the history of Dixuan, the July tribe was spared the death penalty, but Li Muir was taken as a hostage and kept in Kyoto. This Li Muir is a great beauty, and the July tribe is proficient in the art of witchcraft. As the saintess of this generation, she even possesses a magical witchcraft that has been passed down from generation to generation. It's a pity that the July tribe's rebellion failed because of Lin Ping'an. Li Muir should have hated Lin Ping'an, but because of the nature of cool novels, beautiful women can never escape the protagonist's palm and always fall in love with the protagonist inexplicably. Under Lin Ping'an's romantic and sugar-coated offensive, Li Muir actually developed a crush on Lin Ping'an because of a few candied haws, and even finally willingly became his underground lover. This has to be intervened, because the friend of my enemy is my future enemy. After all, there is still some story behind the July tribe's magical goo. Come on, Lai Fu, take my horse and let's go take a look. Ah, master, your horse was crushed to death yesterday. Forgot about that. Move the second one here. He probably won't need it anyway. At the Kyoto dock, Chu Keiwei fiddled with her fingers, waiting anxiously. Junior sister, look, it's brother Lin's boat. Chu Keiwei looked up excitedly. A solitary boat appeared on the rippling river. A figure stood at the bow with his hands behind his back. A breeze blew his clothes, and he looked very classy in an instant. Lin Ping'an jumped off the bow of the boat, stepped on the water, and walked on the water, stirring up waves on the river. Walking on water. This is the 6th grade Wukuang realm. Wow, Lin Tongluo is only 23 or 24 years old. He is a talent who is expected to break through to the 5th grade before he turns 30. Junior sister, you really didn't make a mistake. Brother Lin is indeed a dragon among men. Chu Keiwei felt very happy listening to the praises from people around her. This is the teacher's tacit sweetheart, certainly not an ordinary person, and only he is worthy of me, Chu Keiwei. Lin Ping'an jumped out of the water, flipped over and landed lightly on the shore. If heaven had not given me Lin Ping'an, the great Xian would have been in darkness forever. Miss Chu, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm back safely. Chu Keiwei had tears in her eyes and was about to throw herself into Lin Ping'an's arms. Who dares to sneak across the Kyoto dock? Take this from me. A loud shout was heard, and a towering palm shadow loomed in front of Lin Ping'an. In his haste, he had no time to react and was slapped into the river. Scarlet blood splashed into the river. Brother Linear. Brother Ping'an. Chu Keiwei's legs went weak and she fell to the ground, shocked by Jiang Wang's pressure just now. Xinzi reacted and quickly jumped into the water to rescue him. A young man in gorgeous robes was riding a horse, holding a wine gourd in one hand and gently whipping the horse's butt with a willow branch he picked up from somewhere in the other. It was Jiang Wang who happened to arrive. Jiang Wang, you are committing murder in the street again. I'm going to report you to the Ministry of Justice and have you arrested. Jiang Wang sat on the horse, frowned, and released the pressure of 4th grade. How dare you, a rude and unruly person, to disregard the laws of the Great Mystery. Article 134, Section 12 of the Great Mysterious Law states that at ports, docks, post stations and other water and road transport ports in Kyoto, you must show your pass before going ashore. If you do not have a pass, you will be considered to have broken through the customs and will be detained for questioning. This person is blatantly breaking through, so of course I have to stop him. The intimidating and powerful laws made it hard for everyone present to breathe. Lin Ping'an's colleagues swung their legs and whispered to each other in low voices. 4th grade. Whose son is this? He is so strong, he is comparable to all the golden laws. Hush, this is Jiang Wang, the man who broke into the Sishanjian to demand someone 2 days ago. I don't know what kind of shit luck the Jiang family has, but they actually produced a 4th grade monster who is less than 30 years old. Jiang Wuxian has someone to succeed him. Be careful what you say and what you do, be careful what you say and what you do. Chu Keiwei's punch seemed to have hit the air, and she felt as if a breath of anger was stuck in her chest and she couldn't breathe out. Lin Ping'an was dragged out of the river by Xinziu and spat out a mouthful of blood onto the shore. Who are you and why did you attack me? A sneak attack? Not really. Didn't I warn you out loud? Hey, you're a freshman 6th grade expert. Sorry, your force was too strong. Jiang Wang smiled and scratched his head, making the onlookers even more frightened. How come this evil young man acts like he is right? Oh, by the way, where's your clearance certificate? If you can't produce it, I'm going to take action. Lin Ping'an touched his chest and was shocked. The jade disc that allowed him to pass the level was shattered. My lord on the shore, please stop. I am Zhao Kuo, the governor of Zhangzhou. This is my pass. Please don't embarrass my friend. The boat that Lin Ping'an was on happened to arrive, and Zhao Kuo spoke up to help Lin Ping'an out of trouble. Oh, it's Lord Zhao. My apologies. I'm Jiang Wang. I accidentally injured your friend. Would you like to come back with me to recuperate? Looking at Lin Ping'an's depressed face, Zhao Kuo secretly groaned inwardly. How could Lin Tongluo offend this evil young man from Kyoto? His father was a man who could make Kyoto shake 3 times with just a stomp of his feet. Don't bother Mr. Zhang. I have to hurry and bring the prisoner to the palace to see the emperor. Meeting the emperor? It seems the plot has not changed. The door curtain on the boat was lifted and a young girl walked off the boat. She had no makeup on her face, looking pure and lovely, with a pair of golden eyes as deep as a mirror in a lake. She had a flat chest, and under her light yellow foreign palace dress, she could see a pair of snow-white, crystal-clear jade feet, and her 10 toes were crystal white. She jumped ashore nimbly with her long, beautiful legs, her hands still shackled with the Ministry of Justice's custody. It was indeed her, Li Muir, worthy of being one of the heroines. She is indeed very beautiful. Jiang Wang admired her in his heart, and when he was looking her up and down, their eyes met unexpectedly. With a slight smile, Jiang Wang nodded slightly without leaving a trace. Then he kicked the horse's belly and turned away. Only Lin Ping'an, who was looking at his back with resentful eyes, and Li Muir, who seemed to be lost in thought, were left. Chapter 6. Riding a horse and strolling on the street, Jiang Wang was lost in thought on horseback amid the horrified gazes of the people on the street. Feeling the slight warmth coming from the supreme bone on his chest again, and the more crystal clear quality of his sternum, Jiang Wang understood. It seems that every time he targets Lin Ping'an, the quality of supreme bone will be improved, which is equivalent to increasing his own cultivation and trump cards in disguise. But why didn't that palm strike just now kill Lin Ping'an? In the palm strike on the dock, Jiang Wang used all his strength except for not using supreme bone. An ordinary 6th grade would definitely not survive it. But when he hit Lin Ping'an, it was like hitting an egg covered with a quilt. Although the quilt can make crackling sounds and even the cotton wool can fly everywhere, the eggs inside will remain unharmed. Is this the luck of heaven? It's so terrifying. However, since Supreme Bone can be promoted every time he is suppressed, as long as he persists, he can reach 1st grade or even above 1st grade in advance. No matter he is the protagonist, son of fortune, or martial god, they are all just small fry. The next day, Jiang Wang got up early and packed his clothes. Last night he resolutely rejected the little maid's request for interaction and honestly prepared for the exam all night. Yes, that's right, he learned about the imperial examination rules of Dixuan for the first time last night. It has to be said that Dixuan's class system is still very closed. If students from ordinary families want to take part in the imperial examinations in Beijing, they need to pass the local provincial examinations and prefectural examinations first. Only the top 3 will have the opportunity to go to Beijing to take the examinations. The children of high-ranking officials and students in colleges in Kyoto can directly participate in the formal imperial examinations, and are naturally one step ahead of students from poor families. As for the formal imperial examination, it is generally divided into a written test and an interview with the emperor. The written test is led by the great scholars of the Kokushiuan. The interview was conducted personally by the empress and the left and right prime ministers, who would ask the students 3 questions in front of the palace. As a transmigrator, Jiang Wang's confidence in the exam lies solely in foresight. Because of the recommendation of his younger brother Lin Xinian, Lin Ping'an got acquainted with Fang Dara from Beilu Academy, a friend regardless of age difference. Fang Dara praised his talent and allowed him to join the Beilu Academy as an exception, allowing him to participate in this year's imperial examination. This enabled Lin Ping'an to successfully pretend to be a good candidate in the imperial examination and become a sensation. Today, Jiang Wang planned to severely suppress Lin Ping'an and lay the foundation for his future official career. I got dressed and went out. The sunlight was shining on the stone road in the early morning. In the yard, a beautiful woman with a hunched back was pruning the flowers in the yard. A little kid about 3 or 4 years old was holding a candied horse and playing happily in the yard. "Hey, it's Big Brother, hello Big Brother." The little kid shouted innocent words and jumped into Jiang Wang's arms. The beautiful woman who was bending over to work came to her senses when she heard the voice, and hurriedly lowered her head and bowed to Jiang Wang. Master, good morning. Xiaobao, come back soon." Jiang Wang raised his eyebrows and gently tapped the little kid on the forehead. Bloody! The little boy's nose turned red instantly, and he ran back to his wife, holding back his tears and covering his forehead. Looking at the beautiful woman's distressed eyes, Jiang Wang asked. "I think you've had enough food in the mansion." "Reply master, eat well. If you are full, then work hard for me, young master, otherwise I will kick you out." Upon hearing this, the beautiful woman hurriedly responded, as if she was afraid of being driven away. Jiang Wang rode his horse and rushed to the examination room. In fact, being a servant in Jiang's house was much happier than living outside. The food standards for all personnel in the Jiang family mansion are designed to match those of the military, so they eat until they are big and fat. Anyone who knows a bit about this knows that if you see the Jiang mansion recruiting people, you have to rush in as fast as you can, even if you don't get paid. No, you can go even if you get paid. In today's terms, this is called eating at a buffet every day. This year's imperial examination was held at the Confucius Temple, a few hundred meters away from the National Academy of Scholars. It was almost time for the exam to begin, and many students hurried into the examination room. Wei Xian had been planning for this imperial examination for several months, and now everything was going according to his arrangements. Because his father was Wei Yuan, the right prime minister of the current dynasty, he had a group of children of high-ranking officials and nobles headed by him since he was a child. As the son of the prime minister of the time, he should have immersed himself in the ocean of knowledge, but unfortunately, beautiful women and the fragrance of cosmetics were his favorites. Wei Xian is now 30 years old, the maximum age to take part in the imperial examination. Although he could persuade his father to propose extending the age for the imperial examination, Wei Xian already had a more perfect plan. As long as I can drive out all those sons of military officers who come here to join in the fun, and those children from poor families with no background, so that they cannot pass the exam, wouldn't it be a natural thing for me to pass the written exam? As for meeting the emperor, there is nothing to be afraid of since my father has given me the hint. Look, another warrior has come. Why do these vulgar people want to take the exam and grab my place? Sir, the admission time has passed. You cannot enter now. One of Wei Xian's younger brothers stopped Jiang Wang. Jiang Wang was stunned when he heard this and looked up at the Sunday. No way. I see the sun is still a quarter of an hour away from the exam time. There should be a sundial in the yard. Let me check to see if it's overdue. Wei Xian stretched out the fan in his hand and stopped Jiang Wang, who was about to cross the barrier. Brother, since my colleague said that the time has passed, then it has passed. Why don't you go to the private room on the second floor of Guanchao Tower and have a few drinks? My surname is Wei, and I have set up a banquet there to entertain you. Rubbing his nose, Jiang Wang finally understood. Well, you just don't want me to take the exam. Hey, that's not a bad thing. The questions in the written exam about economics and national policy are already giving me a headache, so it would be great if someone could disrupt my exam. Oh, Master Wei, does this surname have anything to do with the current right prime minister? Wei Xian had an expression that said, you're very sensible. That's right. The right prime minister is my father. Brother, you haven't asked for his name yet. Please give me a favor today. I will definitely drink a few cups with you later. Jiang Wang smiled slightly, leaned close to Wei Xian's ear, and whispered. Wei Xian didn't hear clearly, so he walked out of the examination room and got closer to Jiang Wang to hear what he said. I said, my name is Jiang Wang. Oh, it's Mr. Jiang. What, Jiang? The slap made a whistling sound as Wei Xian was slapped into the examination room and fell at the feet of the statue of the master in the examination room. Puff! Wei Xian vomited a mouthful of blood and looked at Jiang Wang with anger on his face. Jiang Wang, what are you doing here? How dare you attack me? I'm going to kill you. Kill me. Jiang Wang looked at Wei Xian's followers and the dozen or so guards who were rushing over with disdain. Just relying on a few losers, you want to kill me? As he was speaking, a black shadow flashed by, and Jiang Wang disappeared from Wei Xian's sight. Only a series of snapping sounds were heard. One after another, figures flew into the Confucius Temple examination room and landed on Wei Xian. Another mouthful of blood spurted out, and Wei Xian fainted without being able to catch his breath. Jiang Wang clapped his hands, looking helpless. Sensing Wei Xian's aura, it seems that he is also at the 5th grade level of cultivation. Why is he so weak? Could it be that he was also a medicine jar fed by elixirs in the past? As he was thinking, a sense of righteousness rose from the Confucius Temple, and its power actually made Jiang Wang feel a little pressured. Who dares to disrupt the examination room? Wei Daru, someone started beating people, and Master Wei fainted. One of Wei Xian's lackeys hiding in the crowd stammered. Chapter 7. Humph, it's you again, King Jiang. You've been so arrogant these days in Kyoto. Wei Daru was wearing an elegant robe, holding a pitch-black ruler in his hand, and said with a solemn expression. Jiang Wang scratched his nose and didn't take it seriously. Old Wei, you are such a hypocrite. Wei Xian is rampant outside the examination room, blocking other candidates from entering the examination room. Why don't you do anything about it? Wei Daru glanced at Wei Xian, who had fainted in front of the statue of the master, and understood. Wei Daru was not surprised that his nephew would do such a thing, but such a thing must not be admitted publicly. In this way, he had a countermeasure in mind as soon as he thought about it. You little brat are still talking nonsense to me. You have ignored the laws of the great mysticism and injured people many times. Now you even dare to insult your teacher. You deserve 10 punishments from me. Wei Daru raised the black ruler in his hand, and vast righteousness chi burst out from his body. The rules for students, the teachings of saints, first of all, filial piety and respect for elders, then prudence and faith. 12 golden words appeared on the ruler, and the pitch-black ruler turned gold, hitting Jiang Wang with vast righteousness chi. Confucianism and Taoism specialize in vast righteousness chi, and they emphasize on scholars who comprehend the sages and gather the vast righteousness chi between heaven and earth. Great Confucian is not just a title, but also a state. The Great Confucian state is equivalent to Martial Dao 3rd grade, and is even more difficult to deal with due to its variability. The ruler's shadow wasn't very fast, and Jiang Wang dodged the ruler's attack with a backward leap. The phantom fell to the ground without making any noise, and even failed to damage the ground. This is the magic of Confucianism. It is free to send and receive. If the goal is to hit someone, it will never hurt a single blade of grass or a single tree. You're going too far, old man. I don't have time to fight with you. Jiang Wang was not afraid of the great Confucian scholar Wei. The fighting power of Confucianists was not as good as that of warriors. Moreover, it was impossible to start a war in Kyoto. However, the imperial examination is about to start, and I don't know whether I can enter the examination room after it starts. Humph, you're still cursing. Slap me in the face. Love all people and be close to the benevolent. If you have spare time, study literature. Another 12 words flew up, and the speed of the ruler was obviously faster than before, approaching in the blink of an eye. Jiang Wang lowered his waist and punched out. The fist wind collided with the ruler, making a sound of metal clashing. The old man is looking for death. With a gloomy expression, Jiang Wang was forced to take 3 steps back by the force of the ruler. The power of Supreme Bone 3rd grade was his trump card, but it was not the time to show it yet. Where are the Jiang family's sons? Fight off the enemy! Jiang Wang's cold voice sounded. 2 figures dressed in black, wearing silver masks on their faces and with flying bear patterns embroidered on the back of their clothes suddenly appeared in front of him and half knelt down. My guards are late, please don't blame me, young master. These 2 people are Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu, the personal guards who grew up guarding Jiang Wang. Jiang Wang looked stern, his eyes fixed on Wei Dara who was holding the ruler. Form a battle array and meet the enemy. Yes. The two of them bowed their heads in response, and Zhang Feng took out a bird whistle from his arms and blew it hard. As the nightingale chirped, the whole street suddenly fell into silence. The out-of-town students who were unable to enter the exam due to Wei Xian's obstruction felt the solemn atmosphere in the air and asked each other with confused eyes. Several sons of military officers who stayed behind to watch the show watched it all with a smile on their faces, looking at Wei Dara with teasing eyes. And it was the first time that Wei Dara showed a solemn expression. Knock, knock, knock. The sound of orderly footsteps came from the end of the street. Those who are less able to endure psychological stress will feel their legs go limp and they will kneel on the ground. 500 armored guards, marching in unison, appeared and surrounded Jiang Wang. People with cultivation can find out through careful investigation that these 500 people are all 6th grade masters. The armor and weapons they hold are not ordinary items. The leader is a 5th grade martial spirit, who is as powerful as Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu. The Zhang family's Black Scale Guard. Wei Dara gritted his teeth and called out their names. The Black Scale Guards are elite soldiers trained by the Zhang family. On the surface, they only obey the orders of Zhang Wuxian, except for the Empress. The entire organization consists of 2,000 people, independent of the 8 imperial guards, and the lowest level of cultivation is 6th grade. Jiang Wang, I think there may be some misunderstanding between us. I will investigate the matter of Wei Xian. The exam has already started. Since you have missed the time, please leave and do not disturb other students from taking their exams. Wei Dara didn't want to make a big deal out of it. With the Black Scale Guards present, he definitely couldn't teach Jiang Wang a lesson at this time. Jiang Wang's face was gloomy. The exam had already begun. Missing the imperial examination would affect his future plans. Lin Pinggan would definitely stand out in this imperial examination. Form a formation and kill the enemy. What? Wei Dara didn't expect Jiang Wang to be so tough. Kill the enemy, but who to kill? Himself? Can he be considered an enemy of the Black Scale Guards? The Black Scale Guards changed their formation, and their energy condensed on Jiang Wang. Army formation, rise. When Jiang Wang was reading novels, he was thinking, in the world of high-level martial arts, is it really useful to train ordinary soldiers? No matter how many soldiers there are, can they defeat the 1st grade and 2nd grade masters of the other side? But now that he was personally the center of the formation and felt the power condensed from the formation, Jiang Wang finally understood that in a military formation, the center of the formation was invincible if it was below the same level, but could defeat those above the same level. Old man, dare you take my punch? How dare you? This is in front of the Confucius temple. Do you really dare to attack a great scholar? Then you can try it and see if my fist is hard or not. Jiang Wang gathered all his strength, and with the help of the Black Scale Guards, he locked Wei Dara firmly with murderous intent. There was no way to avoid it, and Wei Dara felt a chill in his heart. Don't worry about whether it's embarrassing or not, Wei Dara shouted hurriedly. Zhu Sheng, save me. Wei Dara's cry for help resounded through the sky. Wei Xian, who had just woken up from a coma, heard his uncle shouting for help and was so angry that he vomited blood and fainted again. Not far away in the Kokushian, a more majestic and pure vast righteousness chi emerged, and a middle-aged man's voice came from the courtyard. My friend, please show mercy. Mercy? Why didn't that old man ask for mercy when he hit me with a ruler just now? Jiang Wang ignored him and punched out directly. The murderous aura was everywhere and reached Wei Dara in the blink of an eye. Wei Dara wanted to resist with the ruler blessed by the disciple rules, but the ruler shattered and exploded as soon as it touched the fist. Youth is easy to grow old and learning is difficult to achieve, so every moment of your time should not be taken lightly. In the dark, a force of vicissitudes of time enveloped Wei Dara. Another Taoist shadow appeared in his body, and walked out of his body with a dull look on his face, as if rewinding a movie and returning to the position a few seconds ago. Then, at this moment, Wei Dara merged with the shadow, and the fist shadow passed through his original position, flew far away and disappeared. The power of the 2nd grade time rules. Jiang Wang's face was solemn. Time was long. This man called Zhu Sheng casually used a poem about cherishing time and encouraging learning to stimulate the power of the long river of time, and brought Wei Dara back to a few seconds ago. Dad, please go home and save the people. Chapter 8. My friend, don't be so impulsive. The death of a great scholar in Kyoto is not a good thing for you. The middle-aged man was dressed in white and was 7 feet tall. Although he was a scholar, he had a strong build and walked with the gait of a dragon and a tiger. Jiang Wang took a quick look and understood. Although Jiang Wuxian was a warrior, he had forced Jiang Wang and his brothers to read more since they were young. As a character who often appeared in books, Jiang Wang recognized him at a glance. This person was one of the only 2 sub-saints in Kyoto, Zhu Sheng. Even if you can defeat the sub-sage, you have to bow down to him because of his impartial education and moral character. What's more, you can't defeat him now. Zhu Sheng, I was reckless. I was just angry because of something unfair that happened today, so I hurt someone. Jiang Wang's words are very insightful. Translated into layman's terms, it means, I did something wrong, but it was because someone else did something wrong first, so I hit him for the sake of justice. Oh, what an injustice! Zhu Sheng smiled, stroked his beard, and asked with interest. May I ask Saint Zhu, some people use their family background to suppress poor students, thinking that warriors should not study. Is this fair? Confucius taught the people and made the ignorant children know the vastness of the world from books. The previous emperor established the imperial examination system and selected people with both moral integrity and talent to serve as officials. Why do some people always think that they are not born into a good family and are not students of the academy, so they are not qualified to take the imperial examination and serve as officials? Jiang Wang would explain to Zhu Sheng that it was not just for show, he also wanted to find a reason to take the exam. Zhu Sheng laughed when he heard this and nodded. Your ability to make such a statement has made me look at the military officer's offspring with a new eye. Wei Xian was definitely at fault for what happened today, but when you said warriors should study, did you mean that warriors should study literature and serve as civil officials in the court to govern the country? Jiang Wang hesitated for a moment, but still nodded. Ha ha ha, my friend, you still don't understand us scholars. Anyone who studies needs to be single-minded and persistent. He needs to know the holy theories and eliminate human desires. It's easy to understand the personality of a martial artist. He likes to be brave and fierce. He needs to make progress through fighting, which is naturally contrary to studying. If you are impatient, eager to compete with others, read books without thinking, and are eager to achieve success, how can you understand the essence of Confucianism? And the poor students, many of whom are starving, struggle to make a living every day, and have fewer books to choose from, so naturally they can't compare to the college students. So even though I don't like Wei Xian's affairs, I haven't interfered. After he enters the court as an official, he will definitely change his past bad habits under the guidance of the right Prime Minister. Jiang Wang was silent. After hearing Zhu Sheng's words, the generals and poor students who were still drinking and watching the fun all lowered their heads. Yes, so what if you can get in and take the exam? Can you compare with those college students and civil servants just by relying on the few books you have read? Zhu Sheng believed that nothing is better than studying, and if you don't study wholeheartedly, you can't enter the Confucian path. Zhu Sheng did not answer, and silence was his agreement. So this is the meaning of everything is low grade, only reading is high grade. Scholars should turn a deaf ear to the outside world and focus on reading the books of sages. Jiang Wang stated this fact with a cold face and without any emotion. Zhu Sheng nodded slightly with a smile on his face, but still answered. Not necessarily. Talented people who make friends with scholars will naturally understand the principles of studying. A few days ago, my Bailu Academy accepted a disciple whose younger brother is a student of the academy. Under his daily influence, he also understood the principles of studying, as if he had been enlightened overnight. I was also very happy when Wei Dara told me about it. Zhu Sheng should be referring to Lin Ping'an. In the original novel, it was because of his younger brother Lin Xinian's recommendation that Lin Ping'an got to know Wei Dara and was recommended to Bailu Academy, which enabled him to take part in the imperial examination. Zhu Sheng, you are really old and confused. Jiang Wang made a thundering statement and directly accused Saint. Jiang Wang, what did you say? How dare you disrespect Saint? Before Zhu Sheng could say anything, Wei Dara took the lead in attacking. Zhu Sheng waved his hand to stop Wei Dara's criticism and looked at Jiang Wang with a smile. A sub-saint is only a sub-saint after all. According to martial Dao, you are just below saint. Calling you a saint is just a respectful title for your strength. Your knowledge and principles cannot convince me. Oh, then do you have any different opinions? Zhu Sheng restrained his smile and his expression became a little serious. Jiang Wang chuckled, turned around and walked away. I think there is no high or low in this world. Anyone can read and express his or her own opinions. Everyone can read and everyone can understand his or her own truth from books. The master said, when 3 people walk together, there must be one who can be my teacher. I will choose the good ones and follow them, and change the bad ones. Turning to look at Zhu Sheng, Jiang Wang said word by word. I wish everyone in this world could be like a dragon. I, the young man of great Xian, and the sky will never grow old. I, the young man of great Xian, and the country will never have borders. Boom! The bells in the National Academy of Scholars rang loudly, and the statue of Confucius in the Confucius Temple shone brightly. Zhu Sheng raised his eyebrows slightly, and Wei Dera's face changed drastically. Is this Li Yan? Why is there such a big noise, hundreds of bells ringing at the same time? What is the promise he made? How is it possible? How can a warrior establish his own theory without becoming a Confucian scholar? This is impossible. Wei Shen, be careful with your words. For the first time, Zhu Sheng called Wei Dera by his name, interrupting his mumbling. Looking at the glowing and trembling statue of the master, Zhu Sheng regained his composure. He is speaking for the world. A young man like that has made such a great wish. If he cannot complete it, he will never become a Confucian saint. But, he is a martial artist, so if he succeeds, he will become a martial saint. When Wei Dera was about to retort, Zhu Sheng glared back at him coldly. Well, you are saint and everything you said is right. The strange vision had not yet faded away, and the master's statue actually cracked in several places while trembling. The students in the examination room had no idea what was happening outside. Lin Ping'an felt that he was particularly lucky today. As soon as he opened the test paper and saw the questions, he knew it was time to show off. To clarify the aspirations of the young people. This question was the same as the one he had seen in his dream, and he already had a perfect answer, which was the poem he had remembered from his dream. If he wrote it down, he would definitely pass the written test. Just as I was about to start writing, I suddenly heard the sound of a loud bell and a vibration. This interruption made him feel uneasy, as if something had left his body again. I even forgot the poems I had memorized and could only sit in front of the desk, thinking hard. The vibration slowly subsided, and vast righteousness chi gushed out from the cracks in the master's statue, surrounding Jiang Wang. A cool feeling passed through his brain, and Jiang Wang suddenly found that his mind seemed to be more agile, and many memories of his past lives became clearer. Oh, originally I couldn't even remember the questions of the imperial examination clearly, and I just planned to copy Lin Ping'an's answers, causing an anomaly in advance and passing the examination as an exception. Now there seems to be a better option. Jiang Wang stopped and turned to Zhu Sheng. Zhu Sheng, since you think that we, the poor students and descendants of military officers, are not as good as the students of the academy, why not announce the imperial examination questions and let everyone answer them on the spot, and let the great scholars judge them personally? Zhu Sheng looked at Wei Dera and saw that he was full of confidence, so he nodded. Good, Mr. Wei, what is the topic of this imperial examination? Chapter 9. Ahem, the title of this exam is Clarifying the Aspirations of Young People. Wei Dera announced the topic of this imperial examination with confidence. When the many students who were watching heard this question, they couldn't help but lower their heads and think about how they would answer if they were asked to do so. Should we write articles quoting classics to express our aspirations, or should we follow the example of the ancient sages and serve the court to express our aspirations? Ha ha ha, that's it. I thought the great scholar Wei had such profound questions. Jiang Wang thought so, and waved his hand to signal Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu to take their people and leave with him. Ha, Zhang boy, don't talk nonsense. The question is what you want to ask. If you don't answer it, you can't answer it. Listen carefully. Jiang Wang stopped and pretended to be in deep thought. Then he took the first step as if he was confident. One day the great rock soars with the wind, reaching up to 90,000 miles. Boom! No one knew who the Kokushian bell had offended today, and it began to swing wildly again. Vision, another vision. Can this poem be used to protect the country? Some students shouted excitedly. Jiang Wang took 2 more steps and hummed again. If it comes down when the wind dies down, it can still stir up the ocean water. Crack! The master's statue finally couldn't hold on and shattered completely. The broken pieces fell down and hit Wei Xian hard on the head, causing him to faint again after being awakened by the loud bell sound. 5 steps forward, the third line of poetry comes out. People always see me as different, and they all sneer when they hear my big words. Jiang Wang looked at Wei Daru and Zhu Sheng with a sneer on his face, his eyes full of contempt. A gust of wind blew from the horizon, and it turned out to be a group of birds rushing towards the Confucius temple. Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu's masks were almost knocked off by surprise. Damn it, master, is he going to heaven? The vision is not over yet. The military attaches who were drinking and watching the fun also got excited. A little fat man waved his hand and said, "Today's wine will be paid for by me, young Master Zhao, to celebrate Zhang Shao's poem becoming famous all over the world." If others were celebrating, Wei Daru was praying in his heart that Jiang Wang's poem would not be published and spread throughout the world, otherwise his unfair judgment today would be recorded in history books and passed down through the ages. After taking the last 2 steps, Jiang Wang finally recited the end of the poem. Suanfu still fears the younger generation, and a man should not look down on the young. The poem is done. A strange fragrance emanated from Jiang Wang's body, and countless petals appeared out of thin air. And on each of these tiny petals, there was written the poem that Jiang Wang had just written. What about the title? What about the title? The birds held the flying petals in their beaks and circled around Jiang Wang anxiously, as if asking him questions. Jiang Wang smiled slightly and blurted out 3 big words. Go to Wei are you? Good. An old voice came from where the master's statue used to be. Is this master's approval? Wei Daru is finished. Saint commented that no one can reverse it. Zhu Sheng has no chance to clear Wei Daru's name. Inside the highest level of the Sishanjian, a figure sitting cross-legged muttered to himself. At his feet was a chess piece that had fallen off the chessboard. The birds that have been waiting for a long time fly away with petals emitting exotic fragrance, and they will fly all over the continent with poems. It's spreading all over the world. It really is spreading all over the world. The sons of military commanders cheered and the poor students cried for joy. Wei Daru's legs went limp and he finally knelt on the ground in an ungraceful manner. He can compose a poem in 7 steps. What a brilliant man! Unfortunately, his philosophy is not in line with mine. Zhu Sheng sighed, waved his hand and disappeared with Wei Daru. At this moment, Jiang Wang was very anxious. Damn, why are all the people in charge gone? The poem is done, has it been passed around to the world to see? Should they make an exception and let me pass the written test? What does it mean that they all left? Do I need your praise? I'm still taking the exam. What's going on when the examiner left? Okay, everyone, be quiet for a moment. Someone is still answering questions. A woman dressed in gorgeous clothes and wearing a golden crown and jade pendants came from the direction of the palace. It's Li Daru. Everyone, be quiet. Li Daru is here. Li Daru, please do us justice. Why can't we take the exam? Yes, great scholar, young Master Jiang's poems have become famous all over the world. You can't say he has no talent and can't pass the imperial examination. Li Daru stretched out his hand and pressed down, and the warm vast righteousness chi brushed across everyone's anxious hearts. I am Li Yan, congratulations to Mr. Jiang on his poem becoming famous all over the world. I am here to bring you the order from His Majesty. Hearing this, everyone bowed and saluted. Your Majesty has heard that the poem has been completed, and he has allowed the poet to be admitted as an exception and can directly participate in the interview. At the same time, he has appointed me as the new examiner, and all students can re-enter the academy for examination. In a nutshell, Jiang Wang knew that everything was safe and things were developing as expected. The students who were watching cheered, and some even shouted, "Long live Master Jiang, Master Jiang, I'm going to trap your monkey." Jiang Wang was about to take his men away when Li Daru stopped him. Mr. Jiang, there is one more message from His Majesty that he wants to pass on to you alone. Master, you speak, I am listening. Li Daru smiled slightly and didn't care about Jiang Wang's frivolity. His Majesty said that if there is a chance to enter the palace, I will write a poem for her as well. How should I put it? It's not unexpected. The Empress does like literature, otherwise Dixuan would not have developed the phenomenon of valuing literature over military affairs and creating opposition between the two. Maybe my father would not have had such a rebellious heart? Please tell His Majesty that King Jiang knows about this. Very good. Phew, the problem has been solved. I should be able to have a few days of peace now. I wonder if Lin Pinggan can still pass the written test according to the original book. After all, this anomaly seems to have been drained. In the examination room, Lin Ping'an grabbed his messy hair and looked at his paper angrily. Where there is a will, there is a way. That's right, that was the only sentence he gave in response. He had the impression that he should write an argumentative essay based on this title and telling an anecdote. But for some reason, his mind went blank after he picked up the pen, and when he wrote down the topic, a strange vision should have come to him, helping him to complete the article. But nothing happened, and he just stared at the question all day. Damn it! Why on earth is this happening? Lin Ping'an, who was angry and humiliated, finally broke down. He tore up his test paper and left the examination room angrily. It doesn't matter if I don't take part in the imperial examination. Instead of wasting time here, I might as well go to the brothel and drink and eat meat with my colleagues. After a while, a cleaning boy in blue came to Lin Ping'an's examination room. Why did this gentleman tear up his own test paper? What did he write on it? Where there is a will, there is a way. Can those who have a will really achieve their goals? Haha, what about useless people like us? The servant in blue smiled contemptuously and swept up the scraps of paper on the ground. Jiang Wang spoke up for the poor students in the imperial examination hall and confronted Zhu Sheng head-on, and his story soon spread throughout the capital. Many ordinary people who have given up their studies are inspired by the poem One Day the Great Rock Soars Up with the Wind, and reaches up to 90,000 miles. The sons of military generals, who had always called themselves vulgar, discovered for the first time that there was actually a phoenix hidden in our chicken coop. Suddenly, Jiang Wang became the topic of conversation among military generals and the child of other people's family in the eyes of parents. Chapter 10. After the imperial examination, Jiang Wang had a rare few days of leisure and carefully studied the new changes in Confucianism and Supreme Bone. The Confucian and Taoist theories may seem exaggerated, but in fact they are equivalent to the 6th grade of martial Dao. He is not the first person in history to attain enlightenment overnight and establish the 6th grade. For example, there was an old gentleman who had taught in a school for his entire life but never became a Confucian scholar. One day, he suddenly realized the truth and stated that there should be no distinction between people and education. He also became a 6th grade scholar overnight. The changes to Supreme Bone are somewhat strange. Jiang Wang feels as if his sternum has grown larger. The glowing light that was previously only on the sternum has now spread to the first row of ribs. It seems that suppressing Lin Ping'an can really improve my Supreme Bone. If my whole body becomes Supreme Bone in time, it will be. If Supreme Bone keeps the effect of being one level higher than himself, it is very likely that his physical body will be shattered, but he can still control the skeleton to move. Boom boom boom. Master, Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu want to see you. There was a knock on the study door and Lai Fu's voice was heard. Jiang Wang opened the door and invited the two of them in. Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu grew up guarding Jiang Wang. Together with Zhang Lei and Zhang Dian, who guard the second oldest, they can be said to be the four most trustworthy servants of the Jiang family. Master, concubine Lu is calling you to the palace. Aunt? When? Jiang Wang was a little confused. It seemed that his aunt who had lived in the deep palace for a long time had no reason to look for him. Concubine Lu ordered that lunch be eaten in the palace. Lunch has been prepared, so it seems like the sooner I go the better. Okay, I got it. You two will help me get some information these days. Keep an eye on a silver gong named Lin Ping'an, the one who cracked the tax silver case. Notify me immediately if you have any information. Because Lin Ping'an's chance to take the imperial examination and meet the emperor was ruined by himself, no one knows what changes will occur in the plot. Yes, I understand. Jiang Wang changed into the special clothes for entering the palace, which were exquisite and gorgeous clothes with the flying bear family crest embroidered on the back. The formal clothing style of Dixuan is similar to that of the pre-Han dynasty, which is generally a bit loose, so Jiang Wang is not very used to it. I feel that it is not as good as Zhang Feng and his friends' standard night clothes. I have to find someone to make me a night suit when I have time. There will be many shameful things to do in the future. The road from Zhang Mansion to the Imperial Palace is not far, and one can officially enter the palace gate in about a quarter of an hour. Although his father and aunt often went in and out of the palace, Jiang Wang remembered that his predecessor did not go there very often. This was mainly because her mother died of illness after giving birth to her second child. As far as memory goes, when Jiang Wang was a child, he often accompanied his mother to the palace to play with his aunt. However, after his mother died, people from her natal family no longer interacted with the Jiang family. As soon as I entered the palace, a petite palace maid, about 16 or 17 years old, came to greet me. Master Jiang, am I? I am the imperial concubine's maid, heir. The palace is far away, so the master asked me to pick you up. Heir bowed slightly and saluted politely. No need to be so polite, er. I haven't seen my aunt for many years. I miss her so much. Please lead the way. Heir smiled gently, thinking that young Master Jiang was not as scoundrel as people in the palace said. The two walked side by side, and Jiang Wang used the tricks he used in his previous life to seduce girls, and in just a few minutes he made Heir giggle. Not long after, the two arrived at the late emperor's harem. Heir restrained her smile and spoke to King Jiang seriously for the first time. Master Jiang, since your majesty has a phoenix body, the harem is no longer the same as before. Please be careful with your words and actions, and don't give me any handles. That's right. Jiang Wang was just wondering how a man like him could be allowed into the harem without any guards. Your Majesty, aren't you afraid of a fire in the harem? After being reminded by Heir, I remembered that the Empress certainly doesn't need to care about the safety of the late Emperor's harem. I understand. Let's go. Don't keep your aunt waiting anxiously. As they were talking, voices were heard in the distance. A group of eunuchs escorted two elegant noblemen as they walked towards Jiang Wang and his group. Jiang Wang took a look at the two men and had to admit that they were really handsome. Compared to the handsome young men in the previous life, the boy band members are much more handsome. One of these two people has a strong face, and the other has a gentle face. The strong one is like the green pines on the mountain, cold and deep. The gentle one is as beautiful as Xi, the West Lake, making women jealous. The two of them were walking towards each other and happened to notice Jiang Wang. The gentle one covered her mouth and chuckled, her pair of phoenix eyes moving around in a myriad of ways. Oh, is this young man the new lover that His Majesty has found? His Majesty really knows how to choose people. This young man is really handsome, and his figure is even stronger than our young Master Lu. Does His Majesty like this domineering and evil style recently? The resolute man named Lu looked Jiang Wang up and down with an expressionless face, then said with contempt. You are mistaken. He is not your Majesty's man. This man walks with the wind, and has a faint aura of war all over his body. His chest is like a bright fire, and his back is like a flying bear in the sky. He must be Luxin's nephew. Oh, it's that BCH's relative. How boring. It's a waste of this skin. The two of them chuckled, ignored Jiang and Wang, and turned away. Heir's face turned red, she lowered her head not daring to let Jiang Wang see the tears on her face, and her little fists were clenched tightly. Damn it, you two pretty boys are scolding me and are trying to act like me. Jiang Wang was not pampering them. He was the son of a villain boss, how could he let two pretty boys bully him? Hey, dog. The word male dog came out of her mouth, and Heir looked up at Jiang Wang in shock. The two men surnamed Lu were stunned when they heard this, as if they didn't expect that the boy would scold them. The gentleman even asked a question casually. Ah, who are you calling? Whoever agrees to let me call him will do it. You two male dogs, didn't your master teach you how to speak? That's right, how can a dog speak human language? Jiang Wang patted Heir's back and reassured her not to worry too much. The two gentlemen were filled with anger and rushed straight to Jiang Wang with their men. Do you know who we are? You are looking for death. Jiang Wang laughed and said provocatively. Didn't I tell you that you two are male dogs? Dogs should go back to their dens and stay at home. Don't come out and bark. You're looking for death. Take my blow. The graceful man picked up the folding fan in his hand and hit Jiang Wang. The fan was glowing with a faint green light and made a whistling sound as it was waved. Jiang Wang raised his eyebrows slightly, he didn't expect this sissy to have two tricks. He didn't notice that this person was also a 6th grade martial artist. However, Jiang Wang's current strength has already surpassed the common sense of his age. The fight between the two people that had expected did not happen. Jiang Wang just raised her hand slightly, and the gentleman handed the fan to Jiang Wang, who directly grasped his right hand holding the fan. You are making irresponsible remarks about the late emperor's concubine and calling her by her name. You are disrespectful to your elders. Slap your face. He casually slapped the pretty man on the face, and his right hand was caught in the blow, leaving him no way to dodge. Pa! A mouthful of delicate silver teeth flew out, and the handsome man's mouth was full of blood after being slapped, and his heavily made-up face collapsed directly. Grabbing the collar of the gentleman, Jiang Wang rubbed the blood on his hands from the slap on his clothes and gently patted his cheek. Hey, UBD, are you going to stop cursing? The gentleman was speechless and could only shake his head. Oh, you're still not convinced, right? Jiang Wang seemed not to see it, and slapped the man again, knocking out the last 2 teeth in his mouth. The gentleman was stunned. Was this man trying to beat him to death? By the way, you are still here, kid, don't leave. Realizing that the man surnamed Lu was about to leave, Jiang Wang left the graceful man who had already turned into a puddle of mud and spoke. Upon hearing this, Master Lu ran away. This kid from the Jiang family was too unsportsmanlike. A 4th grader was bullying us 2 6th graders. If so, if he was also a 4th grade, he would definitely not abandon his companions and run away. He felt a chill at the back of his neck, and Jiang Wang's hand pinched his neck. Mr. Jiang, please show mercy. Chapter 11. Normally, Jiang Wang would have to slap him, but this time he really stopped. Why? Of course, it's because the aura emanating from the person who speaks is 2nd grade. Thump. All the eunuchs brought by Air and Master Lu knelt down in an orderly manner, wishing they could bury their heads deeply in the ground. Greetings to the left Prime Minister. With trembling voices, everyone revealed the identity of the visitor. Jiang Wang withdrew his hand from Mr. Lu and bowed slightly to the left Prime Minister. This person looks familiar. Well, I have seen him often in my childhood memories. Where have I seen him before? I think he was with his mother in his aunt's bedroom. Oh. I understand, you old man. It turns out that the left Prime Minister of the current dynasty has been stealing the back garden of the late Emperor. Lu Wen, Su Lang, what are you two doing here? The left Prime Minister's voice was like the ice from the far north, causing fear to appear on Lu Wen's face, which had been pretending to be resolute. Zhou Xiang, we were taking a walk, and this guy started beating people. I remember saying that the harem belongs to the previous royal family, and your majesty's mother and aunt are here to recuperate, and male concubines are not allowed to walk around at will. Are you two ignoring me? At this moment, Zhou Xiang was like a Shura crawling out of hell to Lu Min, intending to tear them to pieces. I dare not. Left Prime Minister, we two are really just passing by. Please let us go. We dare not enter the harem again. Jiang Wang thought to himself, are these two so afraid of Zhou Xiang? So scary? Then you have to give him another blow. It's a good time to try and see if my guess is correct. So Jiang Wang said what the other two said in despair. Left Prime Minister, these two just insulted my aunt, so I beat them up. Crack. Everything happened so fast that Jiang Wang only felt a figure flash past his eyes. Lu Min was seen being strangled by the throat by the left Prime Minister and held high up. His head was tilted to one side, with a trace of bright red flowing from the corner of his mouth. He actually killed. Jiang Wang never expected that Zhou Xiang would actually kill Lu Wen. Good job, Zhou Xiang, you are worthy of it. Old boy, I have high hopes for you. Throw Lu Wen out of the palace, clean the floor, and send all of Lu Wen and Su Lang's servants to Gongyuan, the department that cleans the toilets. The left Prime Minister casually instructed his servants. Hey, Zhou Xiang, there is still one left to be killed. Jiang Wang saw that there was still one left to be killed, and hurriedly reminded. The left Prime Minister glanced at Jiang Wang, and there seemed to be a hint of smile in his eyes. You have disfigured his face. Don't worry, this will be more painful than killing him. Once your majesty's male favorite falls out of favor, he will be torn to pieces by his colleagues whom he once bullied. Jiang Wang understood that the Empress's male favorites were really extravagant. Go back and report to concubine Lu first. I have something to say to Master Jiang and will be there soon. Was obviously familiar with Zhou, and after he came, she was no longer nervous. Yes. After sending away, the left Prime Minister signaled them to go together. Jiang Wang also had many doubts. His aunt had invited him today, and it seemed that Zhou Xiang was also involved. Are you curious? Why would I stand up for concubine Lu? The left Prime Minister forced a smile. What are you curious about? It must be you who stole the peaches from the late Emperor. Of course, he couldn't say this openly, so Jiang Wang nodded in confusion. Your mother, concubine Lu, and I were old friends when we were young. The left Prime Minister showed a reminiscent look. Oh childhood sweethearts! At that time, I didn't know Luxin's identity. I thought she was from a commoner family like me, or at most a daughter of a wealthy family. But when we returned to Kyoto 3 years later, Luxin was chosen as the imperial consort. The left prime minister had a sad look on his face, as if he was sad about his fate. At that time, I thought that it would be nice if I could just be by her side and see her, even if I couldn't talk to her. Jiang Wang was shocked. So you passed the exam and became a prime minister? So I took the imperial examination and climbed up step by step with my own strength. Finally, I had a status worthy of Luxin and was able to have frequent contact with her. But now, she is no longer the Luxin of the past. As expected of a cliché plot for a cool novel, there is definitely an infatuated neutral character among the people associated with the villain. So you just quietly guarded my aunt and became her most determined backup and bootlicker. Jiang Wang couldn't help but speak out his true feelings. Well, I am willing to stay by Luxin's side forever. It's good enough to just watch over her. What does spare tire licking dog mean? Is it a new term among the people? Zhou Xiang could not understand what modern people were saying and asked Jiang Wang. Jiang Wang scratched his head awkwardly. Nothing much. It just means that you have perseverance and determination. The left prime minister nodded in understanding. There was no conversation along the way, and they soon arrived at Concubine Lu's bedroom. Concubine Lu was wearing a phoenix coronet and a bridal robe, and 3 cups of tea had been prepared in front of her. Obviously she had been waiting for a long time. Nephew Jiang Wang pays his respects to Concubine Lu. Jiang Wang knelt down in an exaggerated manner. Wanger, why are you being so polite when you come to your aunt's place? Hurry up and let your aunt see how handsome you have become after all these years. As Concubine Lu said this, she actually wanted to stand up and support him. Jiang Wang understood that the relationship between Concubine Lu and the Jiang family did not seem as unfamiliar as it seemed. Instead, it seemed as if they were avoiding something. It's all the fault of this damn cool original novel. The whole article talks about how awesome Lin Pinggan is, and immediately finds out that the man behind the Red Sheep secret case was Jiang Wuxian, but doesn't explain the reason at all. As a result, Jiang Wang now only remembers the incident of Lin Ping installing times, and is not very clear about other details. Aunt, there's no need to help me. I'm not a child anymore. Jiang Wang stood up with a smile and helped his aunt sit back down. The 3 of them then sat around the table and tasted the delicacies of the palace. To be honest, Jiang Wang felt that Concubine Lu's dietary standards seemed to be even worse than those of the Jiang family. Perhaps it was because the empress was in power and the harem had fallen out of favor. Although there were many delicacies from the mountains and the sea, there were no medicinal foods such as spirit beast. Wanger, why don't you want to eat? Is the food here not as good as the one at Jiang's? Luxin saw Jiang Wang's hesitation. And, even if the empress doesn't need a harem, she shouldn't treat the wives of the previous emperor like this. Jiang Wang wanted to hear about the empress from Luxin's perspective. Oh. Luxin sighed and nodded at the left prime minister. Prime Minister Zhou understood and waved his hand to set up a soundproof barrier in the room. Wanger, I called you here today to ask you, there is all sorts of commotion in Kyoto now, is Jiang Wuxian ready to take action? Concubine Lu asked with a worried look on her face. Jiang Wang raised his eyebrows slightly, thinking to himself, if it was as the original novel said, relying on the Jiang family alone to launch a usurpation of the throne would obviously be something that only a brainless villain would do. It turns out that there are teammates. And, I don't know anything about my father. He never tells me anything. Jiang Wang was still cautious and did not directly admit his father's idea of rebellion. Wanger, why are you still pretending with your aunt? The Red Sheep Rebellion 20 years ago was done by us in cooperation with your father. Luxin's face showed a look of reminiscence. But I don't know why your father stopped the rebellion at the last minute, took my son away, and deceived the empress by faking his death. Hey, wait, did I read novels quickly in my previous life? Did I miss such an important plot or has the original novel changed? From what my aunt said, although the Red Sheep disaster was initiated by my father, it got out of control in the end. Jiang Wang thought for a moment, then replied, Aunt, I really didn't know about my father's plan. It was my own idea that I was making such a big move in Kyoto now. Is that your own thought? So that's how it is. Luxin gradually fell silent. Wanger, I just want to take my son back as soon as possible. I want to see if he has grown up to be a big boy like you, whether he practices martial arts or Confucianism, and whether he is tall or short. Luxin missed Jiang Wang too much and kept muttering in his ear. Luxin, don't make things difficult for him. The left Prime Minister, who had remained silent all this time, finally spoke up to persuade him. Luxin came to her senses and realized that she had lost her composure. She adjusted her mood and returned to being the kind elder she once was. Wanger must have scared you, don't mind it, I just missed you too much these years. It's okay, Auntie. I understand. After learning the whole story of the hidden matter, Jiang Wang suddenly thought that there was indeed something he could ask his aunt and others for help. By the way, Auntie, I have something I would like to ask you and the left Prime Minister to help me negotiate with the Empress. Don't let the right Prime Minister arrange for the hostage handed over by the Zhuai tribe. Pick her up. It would be best if she could be arranged to be near the Jiang family. Chapter 12. Wanger has grown up. It turns out he likes girls from other races. Luxin said jokingly with a smile on her face, relaxing for a rare moment. And, you're overthinking it. I'm not Jiang Xing. I have so many girls who are eager to let me push them. I won't bother looking for a foreigner. Jiang Wang shook his head helplessly. Why? What's so special about this Zhuai girl that makes you go to so much trouble? The left Prime Minister must have guessed something. I didn't find it special, maybe she's just very beautiful. I mainly find it a little strange. Logically speaking, since it is a rebellion, we can just suppress it. Even if our ancestors made contributions to the founding of the great Xian nation, that was many years ago. We can just find a reason to suppress it. There's no point in bringing them all the way to Kyoto and keeping them as protons. The left Prime Minister took a sip of the tea that had already cooled down in the cup and murmured for a moment, you are right. Leave the matter to me. I will bring it up at the court tomorrow morning, but I cannot guarantee whether the Empress will agree. Don't worry, I have a big gift for the right Prime Minister, which may be helpful to you. Jiang Wang smiled and came up with a plan. 3 days later, the opportunity Jiang Wang had been waiting for came as expected. Wei Xian's name appeared prominently in the published imperial examination list. For a while, people in Kyoto were outraged, and many poor students and descendants of military generals shouted that it was unfair. So, that night, a figure dressed in a simple green robe and holding a wine gourd in his hand walked out of the Jiang mansion. This person was staggering along the way, with a flushed face, as if he was drunk. On this day, a lively banquet was being held in Mantingfang, the most prosperous brothel in Kyoto. The eldest son of the right Prime Minister hosted the dinner and invited many gentry, civil servants, and students to come and have dinner. Mr. Wei, congratulations! Your visit really brings honor to our humble Mantingfang. Aunt Rong, the Madam of Mantingfang, was dressed up gorgeously today. Her face was full of wrinkles from smiling, and even the makeup couldn't cover them up. Aunt Rong, is Miss Dong Ai going to come tonight? I've been waiting for a long time. Wei Xian pushed away the madam who came closer with disgust, frowning and wiping his nose. Oh, Miss Dong Ai has always followed that rule, Master Wei. Whoever can outshine the rest will have the chance to join the cabinet. Please bear with us. The other girls in Mantingfang are not bad either. Humph, there are so many rules. Wei Xian snorted disdainfully. He was only concerned about the reputation of the right Prime Minister and his own status as a student, otherwise he would have used force on her long ago. She was just an official prostitute, why was he pretending? Hehe, don't worry, Mr. Wei. Most of the people who can come tonight are Mr. Wei's friends. By then, after drinking Mr. Wei's wine and taking advantage of your kindness, will they still compete with you? The lackey flattered Wei Xian and pulled him to sit down and drink. Wei Xian raised his glass, obviously very pleased with the compliment from his follower. I want to have a kiss with you tonight. Among the group of young men who were eating and drinking, there were a few who didn't fit in. Brother Ping'an, we are not familiar with young Master Wei. Is it appropriate for us to sit here? Zhang Biao, who has a rough face and a big black face, is a big man, but he still finds that today's Mantingfang does not seem to be prepared for him and others. Don't worry, Brother Biao, we can just sit here and eat and drink. Mantingfang is open to welcome guests, so we can't chase anyone out. Lin Ping'an comforted his colleague. This Bio Z is so confused. If someone invites him to dinner, he should just shut up and eat. There are so many people here, who knows if they know each other or not. When the courtesans appear on stage, I will recite a poem to protect the country and will surely be able to capture the monster named Dong Yi. I must vent the anger left by the imperial examination tonight. Touching the cold handcuffs in his pocket, Lin Ping'an smiled wickedly. He had not been visiting brothels in vain these few days. He felt something was wrong when he first entered Manting Fang. He has been wearing the Shenjian, a kind of contact lens, given to him by Chu Keiwei recently, so how could he see a trace of green monster qi in the official brothel in Kyoto? Could it be that spies from the myriad monsters country have infiltrated Kyoto? After many days of listening to music and scouting brothels, Lin Ping'an finally confirmed that Dong Yi, the courtesan who only sold her art but not her body, was a spy from the country of myriad monsters. However, he did not notify the night watchman's golden gongs. Instead, he found his friends in the Ministry of Justice and got a pair of cold iron handcuffs specially designed to deal with monster race from the dungeon. It would be great if we could just catch the monster, play with it a bit, and then send it back to the night watchman to get his reward. After 3 rounds of drinks, the singing and dancing gradually died down, and the highlight of the night finally arrived. The top stars walked onto the stage one after another, and the students in the audience, who usually looked sanctimonious and pedantic, went crazy. They all vied to show themselves in front of the courtesans, but only a few were chosen by the courtesans. Most people ended up drinking a belly full of horse urine and could only return home disappointed. Of course, the Madame Anti-Wrong is also considered one, and those who don't mind can request to interact with her. Don't be impatient, gentlemen. The finale of tonight is still our Miss Dong Yi. Hearing Dong Yi's name, even the most reserved hypocrite could not hold back and his blood boiled. As the melodious sound of a zither rang out, the curtain of Manting Fang gradually rose, and a masked woman appeared on the stage. I originally lived on the Qiantang River, flowers bloom and fall, regardless of the passing years. The swallows carry away the spring scenery, a few bursts of yellow plum rain fell behind the screen window. The jade comb is inserted diagonally, and the clouds are half exposed. The sandalwood boards are tapped lightly, and the golden threads are sung. The dream is broken and the colorful clouds are nowhere to be found. The night is cool and the bright moon is rising over the south bank. After the song Dia Lian Hua was sung, all the students present were stunned where they were as if they were under a spell. Gulp. The sound of swallowing saliva awakened everyone from their silence. Miss Dong Yi, I love you. Miss Dong Yi, I am Lin Xinian from the White Deer Academy, and I would like to discuss poetry with you. My father is the Sima of Zhangzhou. I am Sima of Zhangzhou. You son of ABCH, come out here. Who told you to visit a brothel? Everyone, please be quiet. Aunt Rong hurried out to maintain order. Ms. Dong Yi still follows the old rules. Whoever can outshine everyone else in writing can enter Dong Yi's boudoir and talk with her all night long. As soon as these words were spoken, the noise gradually died down. Since no one is talking, I will show you my ugly skills first. The young man in white clothes and holding a bamboo fan put down his wine glass and took out a folded piece of rice paper from his sleeve. Well, today I heard that Master Wei passed the written test as he wished, and I was very happy, so I wrote a poem to congratulate Master Wei. This person was obviously well prepared and must have made sufficient preparations to curry favor with Wei Xian. When the sun sets, Wenku appears, when the mountains collapse, the earth becomes peaceful. When the sea dries up, the dragon offers its claws, when the flowers wither, Wei Dangming appears. The young man in white recited his poem with pride. Oh, what a nice poem! As expected of a student from Bailu Academy, this writing talent is extraordinary. He praised Master Wei's literary talent and appearance. What a genius! Wei Xian was overjoyed by the flattery. The young man in white was the gunman he arranged. He had already made peace with him and asked him to write 2 poems. One poem was praising his literary talent and appearance, and the other, better poem, was secretly given to herself, prepared to be used to win the courtesan. But now it seems that the whole field is full of my people. Tisk tisk, there is no one competing with me at all. It's such a waste of 500 taels of silver. Ahem, thank you for your poem. Is there anyone else who wants to recite a poem? If not, I will help you, and Miss Dong Yi will be mine tonight. Wei Xian looked calm and had already started imagining how he would get into the car. Master Wei, I have another poem to compose, but I will present it to you first. Lin Ping'an suddenly put down his wine glass and spoke in the look of horror in Zhang Baiao's eyes. Chapter 13. Is there anyone who has written a poem to compliment me? This was the first question that came to Wei Xian's mind. But when Wei Xian saw that Lin Ping'an was still wearing the night watchman's uniform, he felt something was wrong. It's obvious that he's here to cause trouble. Do you want to destroy my place? However, considering the cultural level of these crude warriors, they probably can't write any good poems. Night watchman, sir, it is almost midnight now. Isn't it inappropriate for you to enter and leave this place of women in official uniform? Wei Xian's follower obviously did not want to give up the opportunity to flatter him. No, it's my off-duty time now. As the saying goes, we should have fun together. You are all cultured people, so you don't mind if an old rough like me shows off. Lin Ping'an cleverly placed everyone on a high position, giving himself the opportunity to recite poetry. He picked up the wine jug on the table, pretended to be heroic, and poured the wine down his throat. I only dared to recite the poems I had seen in my dream while being a little drunk. When the CK crows, it sticks its head out. The rooster crows twice and sticks its head out twice. 3 calls call out the fusang sun, sweep away the remaining stars and the morning moon. Zhu Yuanzhang is a great talent. The whole place was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Wei Xian's face was stiff, and the wine glass in his hand accidentally fell to the ground. Boom! The huge bell of Kokushian rang, and a golden light rose into the night sky of Kyoto. The people of Kyoto could look up and see the poem written by Lin Ping'an in the sky. The children looked at the poems in the air and asked innocently while pulling at their mother's clothes. Mom, why do you have to stick your nose out when a rooster crows? Silly boy, if you pout, of course you are laying eggs. But isn't it the rooster that crows? Don't interrupt if the child doesn't understand. Finally, someone broke the silence in Manting Fang. Oh my god, Brother Ping'an is such a good poet. Zhang Biao patted Lin Ping'an on the back, expressing his heartfelt approval. A poem that can protect a country. It's actually a poem that can protect a country. Which Academy's genius joined the Night Watchman? It's bad. The poem that Master Wei bought for Miss Dong Yi today won't be presented to the public. SHH, be careful, don't let anyone hear you. Wei Xian tried his best to control himself from cursing, and spoke in a negotiating tone, suppressing his anger. Brother Night Watchman, could you please give me a favor and give me this poem? Although the poem was written by a ghostwriter, Wei Xian also understood how difficult it was to write a poem that could protect the country. No matter how outstanding the ghostwriter he hired was, it was impossible for him to write a poem that could protect the country. Lin Ping'an chuckled and thought to himself, it was finally my turn to show off. Excuse me, Master Wei. I have been in love with Miss Dong Yi for a long time. Please help me. You. Seeing the two of them at loggerheads, the old procuress broke out in a cold sweat. My Aunt Dong Ai, why are you making up these rules about literary talent? How should I deal with this? This will even offend the right Prime Minister. Just when Aunt Rong was getting anxious, she suddenly found a familiar figure in the crowd. Although this person was not wearing the fancy clothes he usually wore when traveling, his domineering temperament and evil and handsome face made him look exactly like the young Master Jiang whom he had been missing for a long time. Ouch! Aunt Rong's cry startled everyone present. Aunt Rong was seen nimbly moving her legs and grabbing the arm of a figure in green. My young Master Jiang, why did you take so long to come? I missed you so much. Jiang Wang squinted his drunken eyes and glanced at Aunt Rong who was hugging his arms. It's Aunt Rong. I'm drunk. How did I end up here without realizing it? Hurry up and serve me some wine. Have a couple of drinks with me. Jiang Wang said as he sat down next to Lin Ping'an's seat and started drinking from the wine gourd. Oh, my god, stop drinking. You're drunk. Aunt Rong advised in a coquettish voice. Don't drink. I'm feeling very depressed today, and only drinking can make me feel better. Jiang Wang exhaled the alcohol and held his forehead with his hand. I don't think there is anything in Kyoto that can make young Master Jiang feel depressed. Who would dare to offend you? Lin Ping'an said sarcastically as he stood aside. I heard that there are injustices in Kyoto. Some people abuse their power and do things that damage the foundation of the country. But this person is of high status, I can't afford to offend him. Then why don't you report it to His Majesty? Considering your father's status, it shouldn't be difficult, asked a curious onlooker. Jiang Wang smiled bitterly, my father has to travel far away for something, and I'm afraid he won't be able to return to the capital until the matter is settled. Besides, the current emperor has been bewitched by that traitor, and I'm afraid he won't listen to my father's advice. As soon as these words were spoken, there was an uproar all around, and people kept looking at Wei Xian. Jiang Wang, you are insulting the imperial officials and making irresponsible remarks about the emperor. Do you know your crime? Wei Xian felt something was wrong and wanted to take the initiative. Haha, who was I at that time? It turns out that it was the thief who was making noise here. Do you think I didn't beat you hard enough a few days ago? Jiang Wang's eyes flashed with ferocity. The current emperor has saved Dixuan from danger, worked hard to govern the country, and served the people wholeheartedly. However, there are villains and thieves who disturb the emperor's hearing and put us loyal officials in an unjust situation. The day before yesterday, there was an imperial examination. Wei Xian, the son of the right prime minister, led his colleagues to coerce and bribe poor students to give up the imperial examination to increase his chances of passing the exam. This person has neither academic knowledge nor moral character, so how could he be qualified for the position of Dixuan? However, his father, Wei Yuan, the right prime minister, and his uncle, Wei Shen, a great scholar in the Imperial Academy, used their positions to twist the facts and pave the way for Wei Xian. Today, it was reported that Wei Xian passed the written test. Jiang Wang slammed the wine cup heavily on the table, and it broke into pieces, with the fragments piercing his palm. It's really ridiculous. You. Wei Xian's face turned pale after being scolded. This was the trend of dragging the three members of the Wei family into being scolded as well. Among the people who came to attend the banquet, there were not only students who supported Wei Xian, but also poor people who pretended to curry favor with him, and some generals who came here for entertainment but happened to stay for the free dinner. Well said, Master Jiang. We all saw it that day. Wei Xian was knocked unconscious by you on the day of the exam. How could he have had time to get up and take the exam? Could it be that his father gave him the exam? You're right. Wei Xian has gone too far. He treats the imperial examination as a child's play and can play with it at will. Wei Xian's face was grim, and he shouted, "Shut up, you are insulting the right prime minister. I will remember who you are, and I will settle accounts with you one by one in the future. Like father, like son. Wei Yuan is not worthy of being prime minister as he gave birth to a son like you." Jiang Wang stood up and walked onto the stage. His hair was disheveled and his eyes were blurry due to drunkenness, but his steps were unusually firm and his posture was as straight as a spear. He came onto the stage, turned around and spoke word by word to the people below the stage. Right Prime Minister Wei Yuan is the villain of the dynasty, the one who brings disaster to the country and the people. Unfortunately, I am of low rank and power, and I have no official position. Today, I can only write an article to warn the world. Jiang Wang raised his hand and wrote 4 big words in blood in the air. An proclamation against the enemy. The Confucian 6th grade can write in the air, using the lofty spirit as paper and the literary spirit as the pen. The words left behind can be heard directly by the heavens, making it easier to gain the approval of the heavens and trigger strange phenomena. If a student with a sincere heart is willing to write a book with all his blood, the article will be judged by God. Wei Xian couldn't help but sneer, an article to punish thieves. What thieves are you punishing? Us? Don't be funny, Zhang Xiao. Are you from the saint realm? How can you punish us? My father is a 2nd grade saint. Who can you punish? Chapter 14. I have heard that wise rulers plan for dangers to prevent changes, and loyal ministers worry about the difficulty of establishing power. Therefore, there must be extraordinary people before extraordinary things can happen, there must be extraordinary things before extraordinary achievements can be made. The first paragraph of the Anti-Traitor Manifesto was written by Jiang Wang in bright red blood on golden hoki paper. Boom 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 boom. The silence of the night sky was broken by the continuous sound of loud bells. The huge bells of the Kokushi Academy rang in unison, waking up the students who had already fallen asleep. Why are the bells ringing again? Just now someone composed a poem to protect the country. Is this another one? In the quiet night, the sound of bells rang through the palace walls, interrupting the figure of a woman who was working at her desk reviewing memorials. The Empress raised her head with her eyes slightly closed, as if looking for the direction where the bell sound came from. Inside Manting Fang, as Jiang Wang finished the first paragraph of his manifesto, the wine glasses in the entire room began to vibrate. The extraordinary are beyond the reach of ordinary people. The Anti-Traitor Manifesto is quite long. It was written by Chen Lin during the Three Kingdoms period for Yuan Shao to attack Cao. The opening chapter quotes classics and uses many anecdotes to introduce stories of ancient monarchs who were bewitched by treacherous ministers and led to the destruction of their country and clan. The later part of the chapter enumerates Cao's crimes and curses his entire family for 18 generations. Chen Lin also became famous for this manifesto. In order to better fit the history of Dixuan, Jiang Wang changed the sources of many allusions so that everyone present could understand them. The vast righteousness qi is becoming more and more intense, already showing the appearance of Ming Zhou. Confucianism writes articles and poems with a sense of righteousness, which can be divided into 5 levels according to the visions they evoke. It leaves the county, reaches the prefecture, becomes a state, defends the country, and spreads throughout the world. The anti-rebel manifesto had just begun, but it had already spread to Ming Zhou. My God, Ming Zhou, another vision poem. How can Jiang Wang write such an article so easily? Dong Yi pushed open the window of her boudoir and looked at the figure in green on the stage. Jiang Wang suddenly stopped writing, a sense of tragedy suddenly emanated from him, so he picked up the wine gourd, drank the wine in it, and then angrily cast his eyes into the palace, writing quickly with his blood-stained fingers. Right Prime Minister Wei Yuan, his son Wei Xian, the White Deer, and his attendants and classmates are evil, and they are rampant and violent, harming and abusing the people. His brother Shen, who was adopted by a beggar, took a fake position because of corruption, and rode on a golden chariot and jade, and sent goods to powerful families, and stole from the Dingxi and overturned important objects. Yuan is a eunuch and ugly, and has no virtues. He is cunning and aggressive, and he enjoys chaos and misfortunes. Boom! A huge roar sounded, and the entire Manting Fang trembled under the righteous spirit. A golden figure emerged from Jiang Wang's body, gradually growing larger as it stood behind him. A golden light illuminated the night sky in Kyoto, waking up the sleeping people. Everyone could see that the shadow of a golden giant stood proudly between heaven and earth, holding a bamboo slip in both hands, his eyes wide open, as if he was criticizing someone. Puff! Wei Xian spat out a mouthful of blood and could no longer maintain the image of a noble young man, and fell to the ground. The students trembled in fear at Jiang Wang's angry scolding and did not dare to look up and look him in the face. The courtesans who were chosen to enter the boudoir to accompany the guests did not dare to move at all, for fear of being classified as Wei Xian's colleagues. And this is far from over, Jiang Wang hasn't cursed enough yet. His 2 fingers danced quickly in the air, bringing his revised anti-enemy manifesto to this world. Now I hope to inform your majesty of the treachery of the Wei thieves. The students of Dixuan should take up their pens to denounce them, and all civil and military officials should be ashamed of this. Click, click. 2 shattering sounds were heard. One was that the beams of Manting Fang's house were broken, and the collapsed roof was propped up by Jiang Wang using his mysterious energy. The other is that Wei Xian's literary heart was broken, and he turned from a Confucian scholar into an ordinary person. Unless a saint intervened or he attained enlightenment one day, he would never be able to study Confucianism or Taoism again, and he would not be able to read articles or write poems or songs. Wei Xian's eyes went dark and he fainted. The golden giant shadow closed the bamboo slips in his hand, bowed deeply towards the palace, and respectfully handed them out with both hands holding the bamboo slips. The bamboo slips disappeared in an instant and split into 3 golden lights. 2 flew into the palace, and 1 flew towards the Kua Shiwen. The golden light from the National Academy turned into a sharp sword and pierced through the door of Wei Dera's bedroom. Wei Dera's face changed drastically, and he hurriedly raised his hand to block the golden light. The golden light seemed to have no substance, and it passed directly through his arm and into his mind. Puff Wei Dera spat out a mouthful of blood and was seriously injured by the blow. 2 beams of golden light flew to the imperial palace, and one of them came to the empress's study, gently landed on the empress's desk, and turned into an article. Ji Lingyu lowered his eyebrows, glanced at the manifesto condensed by the golden shadow, and shook his head slightly. Another golden light turned into a flying arrow and rushed straight towards the right Prime Minister's study. Wei Yuan stood in front of the window with his hands behind his back, obviously having expected this. He raised his hand and waved it. The golden arrow seemed to lose its direction. It stood there for a moment, then turned into golden dust and dissipated. Wei Yuan chuckled, as expected of a man of courage and literary talent. Zhang Yuvang dared to kill me based on a famous article. He has a good son. The shock brought by the anti-traitor manifesto has finally slowly subsided. From today onwards, the entire Dixuan will know that the right Prime Minister of the dynasty is a treacherous and hypocritical person. The Empress also had to purge the people of the right Prime Minister's faction around her. Whether intentional or unintentional, Jiang Wang has become famous in Kyoto and has become the spokesperson for poor students. Mr. Jiang, please come into the room and have a chat. A soft and pleasant voice called out Jiang Wang. Miss Dong Yi was lying by the window, her eyes full of autumn water under her veil, staring at Jiang Wang intently. Crack! Lin Pinggan crushed the chopsticks in his hand and stared at Jiang Wang with jealousy. Damn it, I should be the one to enjoy this woman. This damn Jiang Wang, why does he always go against me? Wei said that I am a lucky person, and everything I do should go smoothly. Why does this person always stop me? I understand, I have to get rid of him first. Not caring about how jealous Lin Pinggan was inside, Jiang Wang was now ready to go back to the room with the little goblin to reward herself for the evening's performance. As soon as he was about to leave, the roof of Manting Fang began to collapse, and countless dust fell out. Hey, Mr. Jiang, please don't be anxious. If you leave, our Manting Fang will collapse. The madam came up to him tremblingly and acted coquettishly towards Jiang Wang. This old thing was so disgusting that Jiang Wang didn't want to argue with her anymore. He casually picked a gold hairpin from the old procuress's head and threw it onto the beam, where it happened to get stuck in the broken gap. Okay, it won't be a problem for you to last 10 days or half a month without anyone touching you. Go to Jiang's house to find Lai Fu tomorrow and I'll fix it for you. Oh, thank you, Master Jiang. Oh no, thank you, Jiang Chuanqi. A poem or an article, just written casually, is of the level that can be spread all over the world. The name Jiang Chuanqi is well deserved. The old procuress's eyes were full of admiration. If she were still young, she would definitely pester Jiang Wang. Jiang Chuanqi is mighty. Jiang Chuanqi is the light of our warriors. Jiang Chuanqi, the Sima father and son of Jiang Zhou offer you a toast. Jiang Chuanqi, please be gentle to Dong Ai, my Dong Ai is with my idol. Chapter 15. Jiang Wang walked into Dong Yi's boudoir. Her room had a nice name called Ying Mei Cottage. Dong Yi dismissed the maidservant, asked Jiang Wang to sit down, and filled a glass of wine for him. Congratulations, Mr. Jiang, for writing another article that will go viral today. I respect you. Through the hazy veil, Dong Yi's slender fingers brought the crystal wine glass to her red lips. She tilted her head slightly and drank the wine in the glass. A drop of wine hung on Dong Yi's lips. She stretched out her seductive soft tongue and licked the wine drop off her red lips. Jiang Wang chuckled and drank the wine in the glass. The wine tasted slightly sweet and exuded a faint scent of gardenia. Mr. Jiang has such great talent that he has completely broken the impression that people have of you. I have seen Mr. Jiang from afar in Manting Fang, but he never seemed to notice me. Are you writing this article for Dong Yi today? Dong Yi filled Jiang Wang's glass again, and looked at Jiang Wang with a pair of eyes full of amorous feelings. Jiang Wang thought to himself, what a clever woman. Is this the sixth sense of women? Today's drunken scolding of the right Prime Minister seemed to be aimed at Wei Xian's use of his special identity to pass the imperial examination, but in fact the main purpose was to cut off Lin Pinggan's opportunities. I don't know if Dong Yi has a masochistic tendency. After Lin Pinggan's words dominated the whole place and entered her boudoir, Lin Pinggan directly revealed her identity as a monster race. She was forced to stay with Lin Pinggan for the whole night, and even had some bondage play in between. However, the next day, Lin Pinggan was merciful and thought that he could keep the woman and enjoy her slowly. He did not send her to the night watchman's office and was even satisfied enough to leave her 2 cents of silver. Dong Yi unexpectedly fell in love with him. Is this the domineering president falling in love with me in the cool novel? Because of love, this woman used her monster race identity to help Lin Pinggan become a double agent, and volunteered to be Lin Pinggan's gas station. Even late stage became the main force in Lin Pinggan's harem, who was full of tea art and responsible for pushing the butt. It was so shocking and yet made people extremely envious of Lin Pinggan. Oh? Miss Dong Ai is probably too confident in her own perception. Even Lu Wenhao back then couldn't be so extravagant as to write an article that would be passed down throughout the world for a prostitute. Jiang Wang sneered and said disdainfully. Will Dong Yi be very sad if Master Jiang says this, or does Master Jiang think Dong Yi is not beautiful? As she spoke, Dong Yi slowly took off the veil on her face, revealing a beautiful face. Her face was slightly flushed, her skin was delicate and crystal white, her eyes were like autumn water on a lake, her lips were like willows in the breeze, and there was a small black mole at the corner of her lips. Just one glance at her would make people admire her, she was worthy of being the top courtesan. Jiang Wang was stunned for 0.001 second. He was sure that it was just a moment. Dong Yi chuckled and joked, "Will Master Jiang also be shocked by a woman's appearance? Is Dong Yi now worthy of Master Jiang's article? Hiss, is this woman trying to provoke me?" She noticed that I was stunned for 0.001 seconds. It's indeed a monster. I can't say whether it's worth it or not. You have to test drive it to know. Dong Yi was shocked and was about to say that a waiter could refuse to serve guests, but suddenly his whole body went limp and he fell powerlessly on the table. "This is my softening powder. How could this happen? I clearly put it in your wine glass." Dong Yi was shocked and looked at the overturned wine glass on the table in disbelief. "Hat, didn't anyone tell you not to do anything if the difference in strength is too big? I have a habit. If there are two things that look exactly the same, then the one that someone else is eager to give me must have problems. The wine is good, but the seasoning is too low level." Low level? This is the soft powder popular in the western regions. It is colorless and odorless. 1 cup can knock down a warrior below the 2nd grade. A larger amount can even make him sleepy and has a hallucinogenic effect. Dong Yi's eyes were already blurred, and the familiar Ying Mai Sai cottage had turned into a bright red wedding room. I was wondering why a top courtesan in Manting Fang could guarantee that she would not be RD. It turns out that she was drugged. You don't really think that I am just a dandy rich second-generation kid, do you? Jiang Wang stood up and stood by the window, with his hands behind his back, exuding an air of dominance, and pretending to be a little bit cool. My father was the president of the 8 departments and followed the late emperor to fight everywhere. He unified the 10 countries in the western regions by force, making the entire western regions against the officials of the great Xian dynasty. He conquered the myriad monsters country in the south, making the myriad monsters dare not cross the border of the central plains. He conquered the barbarians in the north, killing 100,000 barbarians and making countless enemies. I started being assassinated when I was 3 years old. From the age of 3 to 13, I was assassinated 9,981 times, which is comparable to Tang monk's journey to the west to obtain Buddhist scriptures. It wasn't until my second child was born that I felt better because some of the people were used to kill him. I have seen many methods of poisoning, creating accidents, and pretending to attack over the years. You are a spy from the myriad monsters country, and you want to show off your skills in front of me. When did you find out? Dong Yi asked in shock, and finally began to feel fear for this rumored evil young man. Jiang Wang glanced back with contempt and said lightly, "It's just the smell, a smell of a foxy woman. I admit that I am suspected of being pretentious." But at this moment, Dong Yi's young heart was deeply shocked. In the end, she succumbed to Jiang Wang's tyranny. Inside the small photo studio, candle light flickered. She wears a white silk dress and wears a fairy staff. She flies to the temple with her colorful clothes in disorder. The shadows of people are intertwined. Willow trees whip the petals of peach trees. Diddy chauffeur reminds you that the test drive has ended. Jiang Wang opened the window to let fresh air flow into the room. "Yes, it's a new car and the experience is good." A moaning sound was heard. Dong Yi rubbed his sleepy eyes and lifted the quilt, and the foxtail and ears that had appeared disappeared. Jiang Wang stroked his chin and exclaimed in admiration. No matter how many times he looked at it, he felt it was amazing. How could this thing shrink at will? "Zhang Lang, were you satisfied last night? Can you keep my secret a secret for me?" Dong Yi leaned against Jiang Wang and said coquettishly. "Haha, keep it secret for now and see how you perform in the future. But there is one thing you need to tell me. Why did the Myriad Monsters country send you here? The status of the Fox tribe in the Myriad Monsters country is not low, right? What mission is it? Why are you willing to make such a big investment?" Dong Yi looked hesitant and struggled for a long time, as if he had made up his mind. "Zhang Lang, now it seems that I can only trust you. We discovered that many children of noble races were missing in the Myriad Monsters country. Originally, it was just the low-level races, but later, the Fox and Wolf tribes also started to lose face. Could it be the Myriad Monsters' national fangs?" Jiang Wang asked. Dong Yi shook his head and said, "We monster race are different from humans. Although our ancestors no longer have animal nature after transforming from monsters to demon queens, we still retain animal instincts. We will never touch the offspring of our own kind, even if we want to, we can't do it. This is the restriction of bloodline. This time, the loss incident occurred to all races. It is impossible to keep it secret in the country on such a large scale. Jiang Wang nodded upon hearing this. The unity of monster race must be acknowledged. The main reason why myriad monsters has been able to persist until now and not be swallowed up by Dixuan is the unity of monster race. So you suspect that it was done by Ren Yazi? Well, to be exact, it's not suspicion. I already have some clues. Kyoto Beishan Tang. Ah. Chapter 16. Miss Dong Ai, please don't joke around. I won't believe you just because you say who it is. Jiang Wang couldn't believe what Dong Yi said at all. Beishan Hall was a charity in Kyoto that took in homeless orphans. It was also the place where officials performed charitable deeds and donated money every year. It even has the Empress's endorsement behind it. If even Beishan Tang can have problems, is there any clean place in Kyoto? I'm not completely sure, but the clues point to here. Beishan Tang is involved in a very large background. Mr. Jiang, can you please help us? Jiang Wang really wanted to say that he had nothing to do with this incident. There were definitely more than 1 or 2 people involved in this incident, and it was very likely to shake the foundation of Dixuan. Even the original hero Lin Ping did not discover this when he installed the fork. It would be too dangerous to get involved. But, now I'm playing the villain. Others think that shaking the foundation of Dixuan may not be a good thing, but I'm different. I need to root out the secrets of Beishan Hall, obtain evidence, threaten and win over officials from all walks of life, and overthrow the authority of the Empress. This is exactly what the Jiang family needs now. The Empress is immoral and condones her subordinates to do things that are against the will of heaven and earth. I, Jiang, will clear out the corrupt officials and establish a virtuous ruler. Dong Yi, you don't have the capital to negotiate with me, right? Jiang Wang collected his thoughts and said coldly. Dong Yi nodded, her curly eyebrows trembling. I know that I didn't intend to return alive after sneaking into Kyoto, but I think you, Mr. Jiang, have other intentions. Will you stand on the same side with us in the future? Just your myriad monsters country. The Demon Lord is about to break through to the 1st grade. The 1st grade Demon Queen. It's still not good enough. Dixuan is not the only supervisor of the 1st grade. Jiang Wang shook his head. It was too fantastic for monster race to challenge Dixuan with just a 1st grade. Not to mention others, just take his own father for example, although he is at the 2nd grade level on the surface, with Supreme Bone, who knows whether he has the strength of the 1st grade. If Zhang Xing hadn't poisoned him, could Lin Ping'an really have destroyed the Jiang family? The Demon Lord is a descendant of my demon fox, born with 9 tails. Dong Yi was obviously still very confident. None of the 1st grade strong men have ordinary bloodlines. The biggest mistake of your myriad monsters nation is that you are always abnormally confident. When the war started, I thought that Dixuan could not take care of the north and the south at the same time, but the fact is that you have been at peace for 20 years. My Jiang family will never do anything that will lead to the destruction of the nation and the race. I suddenly don't want to keep you anymore. Jiang Wang's expression turned cold, and he suddenly grabbed Dong Yi's tender neck. Dong Yi reacted instantly, and in the blink of an eye, his demon tail and ears grew out, trying to break free from Jiang Wang's confinement by transforming into a demon. But Jiang Wang just exerted a little force and blocked his monstrous power, and the demonization was interrupted. As the pressure on his neck grew, Dong Yi's breathing became increasingly difficult. His face turned pale, and he looked into Jiang Wang's eyes with despair. 2 hands were raised weakly, grabbing the collar of Jiang Wang's blue shirt and pulling it slightly, and the Supreme Bone fluorescence was restrained. Thump! Dong Yi fell to the ground, holding his chest and gasping for breath. As soon as he recovered, he knelt on the ground, crawled to Jiang Wang's feet and kowtowed repeatedly. Thank you, Master Jiang. Thank you for not killing me. Remember, I have already taken your life. If you reveal your identity or expose me, you will die miserably, and your Demon Fox clan will also be retaliated by my Jiang family. Jiang Wang slightly exuded the 3rd grade's coercion, allowing Dong Yi to fully feel it. Dong Yi curled up on the floor, his whole body shaking. A foxy smell wafted out, which actually smelled strangely good. Giving up the idea of taking another test drive, Jiang Wang left Yingmei Cottage. In fact, Jiang Wang did have the intention to kill him just now, but he was also testing whether Dong Yi would sincerely surrender, and he was also testing Supreme Bone. After the literary pressure on Lin Ping'an last night, Jiang Wang did not feel much improvement in Supreme Bone. Instead, after driving for Lin Ping'an this morning, he felt a slight heat in his sternum, which was an improvement. However, when he heard the secret of Baishantang and didn't want to get involved in monster race and wanted to kill Dong Yi, the imagined opportunity to suppress Lin Pinggan and the promotion of Supreme Bone did not appear, and even a little bit of divine light was restrained. So Jiang Wang decided to take a small risk and let Dong Yi go. As for Dong Yi's identity being exposed and involving him, given his strength and background, I'm afraid Dong Yi will have an empty room every night from today onwards. 3 days later, Jiang Wang was reading Zhang Wuxian's military book in his father's study when there was a gentle knock on the door. When he opened the door, Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu were waiting for him at the door. "Master, the left Prime Minister sent someone to tell us that the matter has been settled and that the person will be temporarily accommodated in our Zhang family." I didn't expect the left Prime Minister to act so quickly. I thought I needed to ignite some fire to push things forward. Well, did Lai Fu tell me which villa he will be arranged in? The housekeeper said that there is a guest house for concubine Lu that has been abandoned for many years. The specifications are not bad and can be arranged. Jiang Wang thought about it and felt that the yard was a bit far away from him, which was not conducive to friendly communication with Li Muir. "Tell Lai Fu to switch and give her the yard of my neighbor Lao Er." "Ah, the second young master's yard? Is it unsafe to live so close to you?" Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu were obviously more concerned about Jiang Wang's safety. "Don't worry, go and make the arrangements. By the way, you two should go to the market and buy a copper skin and some good beef and mutton." It would be best if it was the spirit beast that grew up eating spirit medicine. Yes. The personal bodyguard is very useful, he is sincere and doesn't talk much, and he won't ask questions even if he has any. That's right, Jiang Wang is planning to have a hot pot meal. As a pure northerner, after migrating to Dixuan, I found that there was no hot pot here. How can this be tolerated? The weather is getting colder and colder. Although the dishes I eat every day are exquisite, the practice of martial arts consumes energy and blood. Every night there are always goblins tormenting me, so I have to eat more meat to replenish my energy. Since there is no hot pot, just make it yourself, it's not difficult. The kitchen was arranged to prepare some fresh vegetables, mushrooms, sesame paste and other condiments, and Zhang Feng and the others came back soon. "Why did you buy such a thick copper coin?" Jiang Wang was speechless as he looked at the copper plate, which was 20 centimeters thick, about 5 meters long and wide, and which Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu had to use their profound energy to lift to move into the yard. "Master, please forgive me. The best copper coins are all processed into copper coins in the Ministry of Revenue. We asked someone to buy them from the Ministry of Revenue at a high price. Okay, I don't blame you. I can use it. Give me a hand." So, Jiang Wang took Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu to the yard and started playing ping-pong. "Miss Li, this is the residence arranged for you by the Emperor. It is the residence of Jiang Wuxian, Commander-in-Chief of the 8 Imperial Guards. You will rest here in the future. You need to bring the palace's entourage with you when you travel on weekdays. If you want to leave the city, please send someone to the palace to inform the left Prime Minister." An old eunuch in a dark green python robe and with wrinkles all over his face gave the order. "Okay, I understand." Li Muir responded softly. "Jiang Wuxian's mansion? The man who injured Lin Pinggan at the dock that day must also be named Jiang. Haha, as expected, he arranged experts around me. I need to report before leaving the city. I am really under house arrest." Thinking of the possible humiliation she might suffer in the future, Li Muir clenched her fists under her palace dress. Creaky. The door of Jiang Mansion was opened from the inside. "Oh, Eunuch Lu, you are on a business trip this time." Lai Fu opened the door and said excitedly when he saw the old eunuch in a dragon robe. "It's Xiao Fuzi. You haven't forgotten me yet. I heard that you have been doing very well in the Jiang Mansion in recent years, and you don't even think about coming back to the palace to see me." The eunuch in the dragon robe smiled slightly, and the wrinkles on his face were squeezed into chrysanthemums. Chapter 17. Eunuch Lu, you are embarrassing me. I was sent out of the palace by you and was able to enter the Jiang Mansion because of your favor. How could I forget you? But now I am an outsider and a lowly person. I have long wanted to enter the palace to thank you." As Lai Fu spoke, he actually started to cry. Okay, you are not outsiders. I have brought you with me since you entered the palace at the age of 10. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't have secretly sent you out of the palace." Eunuch Lu patted Lai Fu and said with emotion. "Okay, I've brought the people to you. The rest is not my responsibility. These two followers were arranged by the left Prime Minister. He said that young Master Jiang knows how to arrange them. Master Lu. Wait a minute, the eldest young master said you must accept the return gift. Lai Fu hurried back to the gatehouse, took out a light golden box and handed it to eunuch Lu. In his panic, he didn't even notice that he had changed his address. Eunuch Lu did not refuse. It was normal for people from the palace to come out to do things and receive gifts. If he did not accept them, he would offend others. He casually opened the box and took a look inside. Eunuch Lu was shocked, but he still closed the lid calmly. Young Master Jiang's return gift is a bit too expensive. I don't know whether I should accept it. Upon hearing this, Lai Fu became anxious and quickly explained, Master Lu, the eldest master said that you must accept the gift. The Jiang family never treats its own people unfairly. Eunuch Lu understood what was going on, and after hesitating for a moment, he finally accepted the box. Thank you, young Master Jiang, on my behalf. I'll be leaving first. Master Lu, I will definitely come to the palace to see you if I have the chance. Eunuch Lu paused when he heard this, then smiled, shook his head, and went back to the palace. Lai Fu calmed down and put on his familiar smile. Miss Li, we have prepared a place for you to stay. Please come in. Li Muir nodded and followed Lai Fu into the mansion. Seeing this, the two followers also prepared to follow in. Wait a minute, you two. This is the Jiang family's residence. No one can enter without the invitation of the master and the young masters. We have arranged other accommodations for you too. A servant will take you there in a while. The two followers were stunned, and were a little unprepared for such a big change in Lai Fu. Lai Fu smiled slightly and asked someone to bring 2 purses. This is what the young master arranged for you too. It's called unemployment benefits. It's available every month and does not conflict with your regular pay. Please accept it. When the two followers received the heavy purse, all their worries disappeared instantly. Hey, thank you, Master Jiang, thank you, butler. The two of us will open an inn nearby. If Miss Li needs to go out for something, you can send someone to the inn and say you are looking for Jiang Long and Jiang Hu. Okay, thank you both for your hard work. Jiang Long and Jiang Hu were smiling as if they were flowers, and they walked towards Man Ting Fang arm in arm, waving at Lai Fu. No hardship, no effort, just serve the people. Miss Li, this is the courtyard where you live. The servants will come to clean the courtyard and the room every morning. If there is no need to clean, just close the door and no one will disturb you. Looking at the courtyard in front of her, Li Muir fell silent. It's much bigger than the house in my hometown. The life of the powerful in Kyoto is indeed luxurious. Then Miss Li, you please get familiar with the place first. I'll take my leave now. If you need anything, just ask the servants to call me. Lai Fu left tactfully, leaving Li Muir to get familiar with the environment. The silent courtyard door was closed, and Li Muir was the only one left in the huge room. An inexplicable feeling of loneliness lingered in her heart. Dad, Mom, my people, is this the result of our struggle? Zhang Feng, you still need to practice your knife skills. The cut is too thick. Master, this spirit beast that just died is too soft. Even if the royal chef comes, he won't be able to cut it into the kind of slices you mentioned. How stupid. I'll do it. The sound of laughter coming from the next yard interrupted Li Muir's thoughts. The voice sounded familiar. Li Muir climbed up the wall and poked her head out to peek at Jiang Wang and the other two in the next yard. Jiang Wang was very worried and forgot something important. If I want to eat the meat slices as thin as cicada wings that can be eaten as soon as they are put into water like in my previous life, it seems that I need to freeze the meat. The meat of Dixuan's spirit beast is so delicate that it cannot be cut thinly without using suankai, but the destructive power is too great when using suankai. After several unsuccessful attempts with a kitchen knife, Jiang Wang suddenly had a good idea. Hiss, Jiang Yu, go to my father's study and get a set of paper and pen. Jiang Yu nodded and immediately went out to find paper and pen. If you want to know why he went to Jiang Wuxian's study, it's simple. The predecessor Jiang Wang would never read or write in his own room. He was a warrior and had no culture. When Jiang Yu came back with paper and pen, Jiang Wang spread out the paper and thought about what poem to write. Yes, his plan was to write a poem about winter to create an image, and use the image of the poem to freeze the beef. Jiang Wang looked around and got an inspiration when he saw the vegetables and freshly brewed rice wine sent from the kitchen. Zhang Feng, Zhang Yu, you two have to watch carefully. This young master invites you to watch the snow tonight. Jiang Wang wrote 2 lines on the paper with a flourish of his brush. Green ants and new wine, brass small stove. The sky is about to snow in the evening. Can I have a drink? After writing 2 lines, a cold wind blew from somewhere, making Zhang Feng shiver. Zhang Yu, what did the young master do? Why is it so cold suddenly? Zhang Feng asked Zhang Yu quietly. Zhang Yu was already dumbfounded. He casually wrote a poem to protect the country. Was the young master really the god of literature who had descended to earth? Dong! The sound of Kokushian's bell rang, shocking the students in Kyoto once again. But this time, most people don't know who caused the poetic phenomenon. Haha, I said that contemporary people with outstanding literary talent are not only warriors. There is also someone who has composed a poem to protect the country. It looks like a quatrain that uses scenery to express emotions and praises life. Which great scholar wrote it? Inside the Kyoshi Academy, the great scholar Wei slammed the table and stood up, his heart filled with joy. In the small courtyard of the Jiang mansion, it was snowing heavily in the middle of August. Master, you are amazing. It's really snowing. Stop talking nonsense, cut the beef quickly, Zhang Yu, light the fire, and prepare to eat. Jiang Wang stood in front of a large brass hot pot that had just been made, shoveling coals into it. We bought too much copper, so we had to make a big hot pot that was more than 3 meters wide. We had to use a tub of bath water to eat a meal. Li Muir stood on the wall, looking at the falling snow, and couldn't help but be lost in thought. So beautiful, so this is the snow in the north. The sky is about to snow in the evening, can I have a drink? Why does it feel so warm? Aren't they master and servant? Why can they get along so well? Unconsciously, Li Muir crossed the courtyard wall and walked to Jiang Wang and the others. Seeing this, Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu stopped what they were doing and looked at Li Muir vigilantly. Jiang Wang thought they had finally taken the bait, so he winked at them to let their guard down, then stood up and smiled, thinking he was being cool. Ms. Li, you have moved in. Are you satisfied with the room? Li Muir was silent for a while, as if she was thinking about her words again. Young Master Zhang, what is the name of this poem? Jiang Wang raised the corner of his mouth, picked up the pen, wrote the title on the poem he had just written, and then handed it to Li Muir. Li Muir opened the paper in confusion, only to see the title of the poem in 4 large characters, asking Li Muir. So Miss Li, would you like to have a big fire dinner and a drink with us? Chapter 18. Since Lin Ping'an can catch Chu Kaiwei with just a chicken leg and a few tricks. Why can't I, Jiang Wang, win over Li Muir with a transcendent level hot pot and a poem to defend the country? Does it make sense? It makes so much sense. Looking at Li Muir who was eating beef slices silently with her head down and dipped in sesame sauce, Jiang Wang thought confidently. Muir, since you live in the Jiang mansion, you are also a member of our Jiang family. This is Zhang Feng, and the other is Zhang Yu. They are my bodyguards and my good brothers since childhood. Let us toast to you together. Raising his glass, Jiang Wang said this. Li Muir hesitated for a moment, but still raised her glass and asked. Master Zhang, may I ask why you are so nice to me? Why? Jiang Wang hasn't figured out how to answer this question. To prevent Lin Ping'an from taking you down? Or for the Julai tribe's holy gu? I can't say these two directly. Just think that I want to marry you because you are beautiful. Puff. Zhang Feng almost spit out the wine he had just drunk. Young master, can you please stop pretending to be a pure and innocent person? What will the maids in the mansion think? Want to marry me? I get it. Li Muir nodded, apparently serious. She was not worried about others revealing their plans for her. Instead, she was afraid that Jiang Wang would be as nice to her as her parents were without knowing the reason. That would make her even more sad when she lost them. Don't take it seriously. Never mind. It's better than giving others a bargain. Eating meat and drinking wine, and having a hot pot meal requires writing a poem to protect the country. You can't get this outside. Oh, by the way, where's Lai Fu? Zhang Yu, call Lai Fu over as well. Forget it, call everyone in the mansion. Today is the staff dinner. The small courtyard of the Jiang mansion was extremely lively, as if it was the spring festival. Taking advantage of the master's absence and with the eldest young master's approval, the guards also drank and ate meat to their heart's content. The servants sat together, eating the spirit beast meat that they usually couldn't afford to buy, and listened to their butler Lai Fu telling the story of how the eldest young master suppressed the imperial examination and angrily scolded the right prime minister. Li Muir's eyes became moist as she watched this warm scene at the Jiang mansion. I didn't expect to feel at home even in faraway Kyoto. That night, when Jiang Wang took off all his clothes and prepared to go to bed with the maid. But Li Muir knocked on the door. After opening the door and looking at Li Muir who was holding a pillow and preparing to come in, Jiang Wang stopped her. What are you doing in my room? I am here to fulfill my wife's duties. Young Master Jiang provides me with food and shelter, and even wants to marry me. I am not that ignorant. Jiang Wang felt shy for the first time. Girl, please don't be so sensible. Although I am a playboy, I can't bring myself to say anything bad about your innocent and sensible personality. Bang. Well, everything will wait, until my father comes back. Jiang Wang closed the door awkwardly. Under the moonlight, Li Muir's face was slightly flushed. She breathed a sigh of relief and strangled a love insect lying on Jiang Wang's door. Young Master Jiang is really a good guy, so there is no need to cast the curse on him. There has been no news from the palace about the imperial examination these days, so Jiang Wang can only look through his family's martial arts skills out of boredom at home. You don't know until you look it over, and you'll be shocked when you see that other people's martial arts have such invincible and awesome names. What is Burning Art and King Mu Longevity Art? Their martial arts is called Flying Bear Art. It is said that the ancestor of the Jiang family was practicing martial arts one day and saw a giant bear flying in the sky. The bear was so huge that it blocked out the sky and the sun, with hard hair and boundless power. Its roar shattered mountains and rivers. The ancestor was inspired and imitated the breathing method of the flying bear. Combined with superior martial arts, he developed the flying bear secret that has been passed down to the present day by the Jiang family. The ancestor practiced the flying bear technique to Mahayana, surpassing the first grade to achieve martial god. Because his technique can change the quality of bones, his whole body transformed into supreme bone, leaving behind the long family history of the Jiang family. Jiang Wang didn't dare to imagine how much water there was in this. If this was true, wouldn't the history of the Jiang family be longer than that of the great profound Qing dynasty? I dare not imagine it, and there is no historical record. At present, this technique is indeed extraordinary. Each level of breakthrough can temper the body more than ordinary techniques, especially the refinement of supreme bone. Now, after absorbing Lin Ping'an's luck several times, supreme bone has shown signs of third-grade Mahayana, and Jiang Wang's cultivation has also quietly reached fourth-grade Mahayana. Alas, if the Empress is not afraid of my Jiang family, I can serve as a general in the army with my strength. Thinking of this, Zhang Yu suddenly pushed open the gate and said, Master, something has happened. An official from the Ministry of Justice has suddenly called in to seek justice and sue the night watchman. Lin Ping'an has already brought his men over. Oh! Jiang Wang suddenly became interested. This thing seemed to have not been seen in the original book. Do you know who is beating the drum to seek justice? Zhang Yu thought about it for a while and said uncertainly, it seems to be Zhang Zhou Sima? I don't know much about official positions. Zhang Zhou Sima? Sounds familiar. Come on, take me over to have a look. The two were just about to go out when they happened to meet Li Muir who was coming to find Jiang Wang with lunch. These days, Li Muir always comes to Jiang Wang's yard to eat. According to her, she wants to experience married life in advance. Jiang Wang doesn't care and ignores her. Mr. Jiang, are you going out? Seeing that Li Muir also wanted to leave, Jiang Wang waved his hand. Let's go play together and eat after lunch. The original plan was for each of the three people to have one horse, but Li Muir said that she didn't know how to ride, which surprised Jiang Wang. Not knowing how to ride was a big deal, as it was a big deal. So the two of them rode on the same horse and rushed to the Ministry of Justice in Kyoto. Oh! He stopped his horse and found that the front of the county government office of the Ministry of Justice was crowded with onlookers, and there were also many officials from the Ministry of Justice and night watchmen maintaining order. Jiang Wang jumped off the horse, reached out to take Li Muir down, and saw that she was holding her waist, so he asked curiously. What's wrong with Muir? Is your waist hurting from never riding a horse? Li Muir shook her head. No, my mother has taken me on horseback before. Zhang Xiao, do you have the habit of carrying a dagger with you? Jiang Wang was stunned. Why would you ask that? No, I rarely use weapons. What's wrong? That thing broke my waist. I forgot. I actually brought a dagger. This isn't the first time I've taken you out. It's for safety. Is there anyone in Kyoto who can deal with you? Oh, don't worry about it, go in and take a look. I heard that the night watchman who captured you is also in there. Jiang Wang hurriedly urged several people to go in. Please stop asking. If you keep asking, I'm going to take out a dagger and show it to her. In the Ministry of Justice, the governor of Kyoto and the Minister of Justice were both present. It seemed that the case was indeed a big one. As soon as Jiang Wang and the other two entered the door, they saw Zhang Feng standing next to an old man waving at them. The old man was wearing a four-clawed dragon robe and looked like a royal noble. Jiang Wang walked through the crowd and bowed respectfully in front of the old man. Young man Jiang Wang pays respect to the Duke of Zhenqiu. The old man raised his cloudy eyes, looked Jiang Wang up and down, and nodded with satisfaction. Jiang boy, not bad, not bad. I haven't seen you for a few years, but you haven't fallen behind in your training. You are no worse than your father. This look made Jiang Wang break out in a cold sweat. The look in his eyes seemed to pierce his soul and he could tell his cultivation level at a glance. Although this person is very old, he is definitely more than just a second grade. He is like an old lion king. When you underestimate him, he will suddenly jump up and bite your neck. Please sit down. This case is quite interesting. You young people should use your brains more. Leading troops in battle is not just about relying on force. You need to be flexible in your thinking. Jiang Wang was standing next to the obedient Zhenqiu Gong, while Li Muir and the other two stood nervously behind him, like elementary school students whose parents were called. After all, the Duke of Zhenqiu was a military general, so Jiang Wang was not too worried. He collected his thoughts and listened patiently to the prefect's questions. Who is here, and what do you want to sue? A middle-aged man in tattered official uniform in the hall bowed deeply and presented a file with both hands. I am Zhang Qingtian, the Sima of Zhangzhou. I am here to sue the night watchman. I am suing the magistrate of Siping County in Zhangzhou for making an unfair judgment and killing a good man without reason. The officials are protecting each other. Chapter 19. The civil servants of Daqshuan are roughly divided into the second grade 6 ministers, the third grade prefects of each state, and the civil servants of each city and county. Sima is considered the lowest 9th grade civil servant. The night watchman probably never imagined that a 9th grade civil servant would dare to go to Beijing to sue him. Zhang Qingtian, please think carefully. Now you are suing the night watchman and his immediate superior, the prefect of Zhangzhou. If you are talking nonsense, I can sentence you to slander. The prefect of Kyoto said sternly. Your Excellency, every word I say next is true. If I say even one word is false, I am willing to be beaten to death in court. Zhang Qingtian clasped his fists to the court and said sternly. Okay, Mr. Liu, the prefect, and Mr. Li from the Ministry of Justice, you might as well listen to what Zhang Qingtian has to say. The Duke of Zhenqiu interrupted in a rare move. With the state guard speaking out, the two naturally did not dare to stop him and could only bite the bullet and acquiesce to Zhang Qingtian. Thank you, Duke Zheng, I am Zhang Qingtian, the Sima of Zhangzhou. After I took office, a serial murder case occurred in Siping County where I am located. With the help of my colleagues, the murderer was quickly caught. He was Shi Chunkaiu, a butcher in Siping County. Zhang Qingtian told the story without any nervousness. Shi Chunkaiu RD and killed 13 women in a period of 6 months. His methods were extremely cruel. After the last victim was killed, our Yamen runners finally caught the suspect based on clues. Now that he's been caught, why not sentence him to death immediately? According to the laws of Zhendaqshuan, what are you hesitating about? Lord Liu, the governor of Kyoto, couldn't help but ask. It was because of his arrest that I discovered an injustice that happened a few months ago. Zhang Qingtian's words made Jiang Wang feel an unusual opportunity. You know, Lin Ping'an set out for Zhangzhou a few months ago, and his first stop was Siping County. Could it be that the unjust case was related to him? Indeed, the original novel only says that Lin Ping'an pretends to be a tough guy in Siping County, solves many unsolved cases in succession, and is appreciated by the prefect of Zhangzhou. But are all these cases really observing minutiae with clarity? After the criminal suspect, Shi Chunkaiu, was executed, we interrogated him. He confessed to the 13 crimes he had committed. One of the cases overlapped with the case handled by the night watchman Lin Ping'an 3 months ago. Zhang Qingtian said righteously. It overlaps with the case of the night watchman, so why didn't the night watchman catch the murderer at that time? Sima Zhang, please don't talk nonsense. A night watchman named Yang Jinluo asked without waiting for permission from Lord Lu, the prefect of Kyoto. Yang Jinluo, I am the official handling the case now, which is the responsibility of the Ministry of Justice. I don't think it is the night watchman's turn to make comments. Lord Lu said slowly. Yang Jinluo was rejected. In a certain sense, the duties of the Ministry of Justice overlapped with those of the night watchman, but the night watchmen were directly under the Empress, and their orders were conveyed by the right Prime Minister. In some special cases, they had execution power superior to that of the Ministry of Justice. However, the night watchman could not interfere in lawsuits involving officials. Therefore, Yang Jinluo did not dare to interrupt again and looked at Lin Ping'an nervously. Lin Ping'an was calm and composed, as if he was not worried about the lawsuit from Zhangzhou Sima. It is precisely because the night watchman caught the murderer that I said it was a wrongful case. According to Shi Chunkai's confession, the case of a female corpse found in the toilet of the dyeing and weaving factory in Siping County, Zhangzhou 3 months ago was committed by him. But at that time, Lin Ping'an and Lin Yinluo, who happened to pass by, had already caught the murderer, who was Song, an employee of the dyeing and weaving factory. Since Song was the first to discover the body of a woman who had been RD and murdered and hidden in the women's restroom, Lin Yinluo boldly speculated that Song was the real murderer, and that he was the thief crying thief. Therefore, a quick trial was held, and Song was beheaded 3 days later, bringing the case to a close. Then, I would like to ask Lin Yinluo, why has a murderer appeared now and confessed to the crime? He even described the facts of the case in more detail than Song, who was clueless at the time. I would like to ask you to circulate the case files. From the files, it can be seen that Song's description of the case is a misleading fantasy, and his method of committing the crime is too presumptuous. It is not enough to be considered sufficient evidence. Why was he sentenced to death so hastily and executed within 3 days without giving him any chance to appeal? Zhang Qingtian's words were radical, and his question left everyone speechless. But Lin Ping'an was obviously not convinced. Master Zheng, you wouldn't really believe the words of a murderer, would you? I was indeed the one trying the case at the time, and the evidence was very simple. It is true that Song reported the case to the police as soon as he found the female corpse, but I want to ask Mr. Zheng, how did he, a man, find a body in the women's restroom next door when he was using the restroom? If he hadn't committed the crime, wouldn't he have been able to see through it and know that someone had died in the toilet next door, and that it was a woman, wearing a long floral dress, young and beautiful? So, based on the confession of the suspect, I concluded that the person who committed the crime was Song. He was actually crying thief to divert the attention of our investigators. Zhang Qingtian obviously did not expect Lin Ping'an to be so eloquent, and he was at a loss for words when he was questioned. But Shi Chunkaiu confessed to the case without reservation and insisted that he was the one who committed the murder of the female corpse in the dyeing and weaving factory. He also described the physical characteristics of the deceased and the method of committing the crime in great detail. If he didn't do it, why would he know it so clearly? Zhang Qingtian said, gritting his teeth. Lin Ping'an couldn't help but sneered. What if it was inferred from rumors? Lord Zheng, you wouldn't completely believe the words of a murderer, would you? It's true that we have to be responsible for any case and treat every victim wholeheartedly, but the confession of a criminal suspect is really worthy of your complete trust, and would you doubt an excellent silver gong who solved the tax silver case? Sir Zheng, I'm afraid you have been bewitched by a villain. Lin Ping'an showed his aggressive momentum, and for a moment he was speechless. If you want to refute my reasoning, then please tell me, Lord Zheng, how did Song find the female corpse next door without entering the female toilet, and why did he prepare a sufficient alibi and let his friends in the factory testify for him? I don't know. I only know that Song is a filial, hard-working, and motivated young man. He will soon have a virtuous wife. There is no need for him to commit a crime. Shi Chunkaiu meets all the requirements, both in terms of means and motives. He also admitted that he was the one who committed the crime. So I think this case must be sent back for retrial. But I visited various government offices where night watchmen worked, and no one welcomed me in to file a lawsuit. Even Lin Yinluo and Yang Jinluo, who are here today, have been trying to stop me from reviewing the case when I was beating the drum to appeal for justice. Therefore, I, Zheng, request that the prefect, the Minister of Justice, and the Duke of Zhenqiu re-examine this case, restore the innocence of the innocent, and let those who should be punished receive the punishment that the law deserves. The prefect of Zhangzhou fell silent. He really didn't want to take this case because the journey was too long and a lot of evidence could only be presented orally. On the other hand, it was because of the power of the night watchman, Lin Ping'an's recent outstanding performance, and his intuition in solving cases. He believed that Lin Ping'an would not make such a low-level mistake. But Zhang Qingtian would not consider so many things. He only had justice and righteousness in his heart and would not care about the face of the dignitaries. Master Lin, everyone makes mistakes. Now that the murderer has come forward, we should investigate and give justice to the deceased. Okay, if you tell me today how Song knew there was a dead body in the women's restroom next door, I will admit that I made a wrong judgment at the time. Lin Ping'an said, gritting his teeth. He was already a little impatient with Zhang Qingtian's aggressiveness. How did he find the female corpse? I haven't thought of the reason yet. Zhang Qingtian replied with a dark face. Ha ha ha, you dare to say that I am unfair in judging cases based on this? Lord Zheng, you are probably targeting me, Lin. I am a detective who solved the tax and silver case. How could I have judged a wrongful conviction? After saying this, Lin Ping'an became radiant, while Zhang Qingtian's dark face became even darker. Yes, if it cannot be proved how Song found the body, it would be impossible to overturn Song's suspicion of crime. When everyone was at a loss, trying their best to think and racking their brains, Jiang Wang suddenly had a flash of inspiration and made a bold guess. So Jiang Wang raised his hand and asked like a primary school student. Lord Lu, Sima Zheng, can you let me take a look at the files? I also want to broaden my horizons. Chapter 20. Everyone's eyes moved to Jiang Wang, and seeing that he was the #1 playboy in Dixuan, the governor of Kyoto felt a headache. Master Jiang, how come you have time to come to our little temple? Jiang Wang, please don't disturb the court here. Do you think you can read the files of the Ministry of Justice? Although you are the descendant of a military officer, you have no official position and you have no right to borrow them. Compared to the prefect, Lord Lu, Lord Li from the Ministry of Justice's tone was not as good. Zhang Feng was a little indignant. He took a few steps and seemed to want to go up and argue. Hey, Minister Li, you don't have to say that. Didn't the detective Lin Ping'an solve the tax case in prison as an innocent person? Why is it impossible for me, Jiang Wang, to solve a wrongly convicted case? Who do you say is wrongly convicted? Do you have evidence? From any angle, Song is the murderer. Lin Ping'an became famous. In front of so many people, saying that he made a wrong judgment was like a slap in his face and ruining his future. I've long disliked this guy named Jiang Wang. He keeps stealing my limelight. Is it a big deal that his father is a second-grade military attaché? Everyone, I think what Zhang Ziazi said makes sense. I also want to see what the file says. Let Zhang Ziazi read it to me. For some unknown reason, the Duke of Zhenqiu was willing to help Jiang Wang request the files. Jiang Wang took the file from Zhang Qingtian, opened it carefully and read it carefully. Li Muir also came forward curiously to look at the contents of the file. Zhang boy, read carefully and tell me your findings later. I am old and my eyes are blurry. I can't compare with you guys. For some reason, the Duke of Zhenqiu closed his eyes, as if he was really old and sleepy, and fell asleep right in the court. For a moment, the whole courtroom was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop, and the trial was suspended. Zhang Qingtian unconsciously recalled his previous experience. Sir Zheng, whenever I think of Song Jian's death, I want to cry. My poor son, his head was chopped off right in front of me. The blood splattered on the white silk, and the head that rolled down had its eyes open. He was truly wronged. Song Jian's mother held Zhang Qingtian's arms tightly with both hands and knelt on the ground crying. Although she was an old woman over 50 years old, her hands were exceptionally strong. That day, he was dragged to the execution ground, with his head down the whole time. Neighbors didn't know him, and they threw rotten vegetable leaves and stones at him. I saw his head was broken and blood was all over his face. I felt so sad. I couldn't help but call him. I said, son. He heard it instantly, looked up and found me in the crowd, saw me, he cried, his teeth were all pulled out, opened his mouth and it was full of blood, he couldn't make a sound, but I knew what he wanted to say. He wanted to say, Mom, I'm in pain. I really didn't kill the person. I'm sorry. Master Zheng, my son has never even killed a chicken, how could he kill someone? Song Qian's mother's crying touched Zhang Qingdian's heart, but he could not refute the evidence given by the night watchman at that time. Finally, after the night watchman left, his good friend, an ordinary yamen runner, excitedly told him that the real murderer had been caught. When he followed his friend into the prison and saw Shi Chunkaiu, he knew that the murderer had really been found. This was a desperate fugitive who had already committed enough crimes to be beheaded 10 times, but he had already fled to the north and joined Liangshan. Now he appeared in Siping County again, and he was arrested because he surrendered himself, which made Zhang Qingtian very confused. I, Shi Chunkaiu, am a rotten man. I have slept with many women in my life. I should have died a long time ago. But I also know that I have to take responsibility for my own actions. If I kill one, I will die. If I kill 2, I will die too. I have no reason to let others die for me. I did it. That's what I did. No matter who asks me about the case at the dyeing and weaving factory, I will admit it. After interrogating Shi Chunkaiu, Zhang Qingtian felt that Song Qian's grievances could finally be cleared. He excitedly told the news to Song Qian's mother, and then took the elderly woman to the court in Siping County. Oh my god, it's not that I don't want to review this case for you, it's just that there's no need. Look, the person is already dead, right? Even if we catch the real murderer, we can't bring him back to life. Besides, who handled this case? He was a night watchman from Kyoto. He has solved many big cases and never made any mistakes. How can we slap him in the face? Only then did Zhang Qingtian realize that justice was not that important in the hearts of some people. Compared to their own official careers and offending the bigwigs above them, they really shouldn't bring up this case again. Haha, ridiculous. Zhang Qingtian, oh Zhang Qingtian, have you forgotten how you became a Sima? You were born into a noble family in Kyoto, and you won the 3rd place in the imperial examination. You had a promising life, but you did not know how to curry favor with the powerful, read people's expressions, and take sides to protect yourself. Because of your so-called justice, you offended many people and were eventually demoted to Zhengzhou, where you became a small Sima. Isn't this ridiculous enough? What are you pretending for? Zhang Qingtian wiped his face with lifeless eyes, and surprisingly it was wet. It turned out that he had been in tears for a long time. Looking at Song Qian's mother who seemed to be in despair, and seeing her vitality gradually fading away, Zhang Qingtian knew that he had reached the bottom of the world, and all he could do now was to give Song Qian justice. So he embarked on the road of filing a complaint, from the Siping County Government Office to the Zhengzhou Government Office. The Zhengzhou Government Office refused to accept his complaint, so he just waited. He waited at the gate of the government office for 10 days and finally met the prefect of Zhengzhou, but was severely scolded by the prefect. The night watchman who was handling the case at that time was the benefactor of the entire Zhengzhou. He quelled the rebellion of the Julai tribe and saved countless people. How could he reopen the old case of such an outstanding person? Moreover, he was about to go to the capital with Lin Ping'an to report and deal with the emperor's questioning. How could he have the time to deal with an unjust case of death in Siping County? Haha, Zhang Qingtian knew that saving the people of Zhengzhou was a light matter, while saving the official hat of the prefect of Zhengzhou was a heavy matter. Since you are going to Kyoto, I will go too. Zhang Qingtian sold all his property and went to Beijing with the case files. Before leaving, Song Qian's mother, whose eyes had already been blinded by crying, found him and tremblingly carved 8 big words on his back with an embroidery needle. Legislation is for the public good, and a clear mirror hangs high. Zhang Qingtian seemed to have great faith. He took his disappointing son with him, and the 2 of them slept in the open air, and under the sun and moon, they finally arrived in Kyoto. In Kyoto, the father and son visited various places but encountered obstacles at every turn. Who doesn't know the famous Lin Ping'an? Why would someone reopen the detectives' cases? Zhang Qingtian went to the Ministry of Justice, the night watchman, Jin Luo, and the prefect. Some of these people used threats, some used bribes, and some even beat people. Under these layers of torture, Zhang Qingtian thought his faith was about to collapse. At this time, in Mantingfang, it was this man named Jiang Wang who woke him up with an exhortation to punish the traitors. There are people in this world who dare to scold even the Prime Minister. Then there is nothing I dare not do. All threats and inducements are not worth mentioning. There was a gleam in Zhang Qingtian's eyes as he stared at the officials on the platform with burning eyes. Even if he died today, he would give Song Qian justice. I have a clear sky above my head and a belief in my heart. It's not because I'm young and ignorant, but because I'm not afraid of challenges. I want to know the truth about everything. It's hard to change my mind. If I can give you justice, why wouldn't I do it? A strange song sounded in Zhang Qingdian's ears, making him feel as if the song was written for him, making him feel relaxed and happy. Mr. Jiang, what are you doing? Li Muir couldn't help but remind him. Zhang Qingdian was shocked. How could this young master Jiang sing out my inner thoughts and experiences? Chapter 21. Jiang Wang, who had just finished reading the files, couldn't help but sing the theme song from the TV series Childhood Shadows. Looking at Zhang Qingdian's shocked and hesitant expression, Jiang Wang patted his shoulder with emotion. Thank you for your hard work, comrade. I don't know how to thank you for giving me such a great opportunity to step on Lin Ping'an. Jiang Wang, why are you walking in front of the court? Be careful or I will punish you for contempt of court. Li Shangshu of the Ministry of Justice said coldly. The disgusting sound also made the Duke of Zhenqiu slowly open his slightly narrowed eyes, and the cold light in his eyes made Minister Li shiver. Li Yan, don't be afraid of this old guy. He is just trying to scare you. He doesn't dare to hit you. Minister Li kept comforting himself in his heart. Haha, Lord Li, I am not just wandering around in front of the hall. Oh? Then what? Do you have evidence to prove Song Qian's innocence? Lord Lu showed a hint of interest. That's not the case. It's just that my identity has changed. I am now Jiang Wang, the lawyer hired by the deceased Song Qian. Now I want to sue Lin Ping'an for the crime of taking human life. The entire court was shocked when they heard this, and then there was an uproar. The night watchman who came with Lin Ping'an cursed angrily. You are suing a toad. Can a dead person give you a commission? This evil young man is getting more and more outrageous. He dares to make fun of our Lin Yunluo. Zhang Feng and Zhang Yu lowered their heads and whispered. Should we call for help? I feel like the young master is going to beat us up in a bit. Don't worry, everyone here is a civil servant, the most powerful one is, ahem, that old man. If he doesn't take action, the young master is invincible, and if he takes action, it will be useless no matter how many people he calls. Lin Ping'an squeezed the sword in his hand so hard that it made a creaking sound. This guy came again and started targeting me again. Zhang boy, I am talking nonsense. How can a dead person ask you to sue others, unless they are his relatives? The Duke of Zhenqiu calmed the noisy court with his words. With him in charge, no one dared to disobey. Jiang Wang chuckled and saluted respectfully to the Duke of Zhenqiu. Mr. Duke, you are right. I am actually suing on behalf of Song Qian's mother. Mr. Zheng, you should be able to represent Song Qian's mother. Zhang Qingtian was stunned, but when he thought that the person in front of him was a god who dared to scold the Prime Minister, he felt a little trust in him. Anyone could curry favor with the powerful, but he should not. Of course, I was entrusted by Song Qian's mother to solve this unjust case, so I can naturally decide who to hire as a lawyer for her. Okay. Then today I will sue Lin Ping'an for taking human life lightly, the Night Watchman for shielding criminals, and the Ministry of Justice for dereliction of duty. As Jiang Wang's 3 complaints fell, everyone present couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. This evil young man is too crazy. He is going to sue everyone present. Lin Ping'an was worthy of being the male protagonist. He quickly calmed down and stood up to accuse. What qualifications do you have to sue the Night Watchman and the Ministry of Justice? You don't have the right to supervise. Jiang Wang was so happy to see that there were people who came up to him to be scolded. Humph, it is because the people do not have the right to supervise that they raise a dog like you. You. Ignoring the angry Lin Ping'an, Jiang Wang spoke loudly to the 2 adults in the court. My lords, I have a complete theory about the Song Qian case. Can you tell me about it? Li Yan from the Ministry of Justice actually wanted Jiang Wang to shut up, but he and the governor of Kyoto were not on the same page. Then tell me about it. I am also very curious. Thank you, Lord Lu. I will say a few words then. Jiang Wang walked slowly in the court with his hands behind his back. According to the file, Song Qian was a thin, weak boy of only 17 years old. Although the victim was a woman, she was a woman who often did manual labor. Even if they were to face off, I don't think Song Qian would be sure of winning. What's more, in a small place like a women's toilet, he not only subdued the victim, but also RD her. After these words were spoken, everyone suddenly realized that this was indeed the suspicious point in the case. The Duke of Zhenqiu was obviously also interested. He didn't expect that this kid could really make a discovery, so he urged him. Is it possible that it was a sneak attack? Are there any signs of sneak attack on the deceased? Is it possible that Song Jian is a martial artist? Jiang Wang opened the file in his hand and took out the report written by the coroner. The cause of death was suffocation. There were obvious fractures in the bones of the neck, which means the murderer must be strong and have great hand strength. He must be a martial artist. But Song Jian, firstly, his family is very poor and his father died when he was young. Martial arts requires frequent replenishment of blood and food, and also requires a special teacher to train him to improve his body, so his family conditions do not allow it. Secondly, no matter which direction you practice, the main changes in martial arts are the flesh and blood, and the mysterious energy, and generally do not change the bone structure. Please look at Song Jian's palm bones and the handprints on the victim's neck. Jiang Wang took out 2 pictures. One was a drawing of the deceased's neck. The painter perfectly restored the handprints on the neck. Several thick fingerprints looked like steel bars printed on the deceased's neck. The other was a picture of Song Jian's palm. The palm was slender and small, like a girl's. Look, Song Jian's palms are small, and his fingers are long and slender, while the fingerprints left on the victim's neck are thick and short. It is obvious that they could not have been made by Song Jian's hands. And the real murderer, Shi Chunkaiu, must have short and strong hands, right, Lord Zheng? Jiang Wang looked at Zhang Qingtian for confirmation. Zhang Qingtian seemed to have divine insight, nodding his head repeatedly, yes, yes, you are right, Shi Chunkaiu is indeed short, but very strong, with the strength of an 8th grade martial artist. Why didn't I think of that? Seeing that the situation was not good and that the evidence was indeed too unfavorable to him, Lin Pinggan quickly interrupted. Then how do you explain that he didn't do it, but he knew there was a body in the women's toilet next door? Jiang Wang's expression gradually dimmed, and he opened his mouth several times but stopped talking. Lin Pinggan thought that Jiang Wang had not found any clues to clear Song Jian of the charges, and he mocked. Well, I'll just say it was Song Jian who did it. Either you tell me how he knew it, or you can get out of here and not embarrass yourself. Who are you to sue an official appointed by the imperial court? Jiang Wang asked Zhang Qingtian seriously this time because Niao Lin Pinggan was not there. Sir Zhang, I would like to ask what Song Jian's mother said. If I clear her of the injustice but let her bear the stigma again, I can't bear it. Zhang Qingtian knelt down in front of Jiang Wang with a thud and tore off his shirt. Master Zhang, what are you doing? Master Jiang, the words on my back are the answer. I think Song Jian's mother left me these 8 words because she wanted us to enforce the law impartially. Whatever the facts are, we must clear Song Jian's name no matter what the cost. This. Jiang Wang glanced at the words behind Zhang Qingtian and understood. Well then, I will give Song Jian justice today. My lords, how did Song Jian discover the female corpse hidden in the toilet next door? It's actually very simple. Everyone in the room was shocked when Jiang Wang said this. Could it be that this evil young man really found out the reason? Tell me the truth quickly. The Duke of Zhenqiu sat up straight and urged. It's very simple. He just needs to go and see it. Jiang Wang said slowly. Chapter 22. Go and see it directly? Jiang Wang, are you kidding me? How can he see it? He can't see through it. Lin Pinggan spoke loudly, he simply couldn't understand Jiang Wang's train of thought. I said that you solved the tax and silver case entirely by luck, Lin Yinluo, you can't rely on a woman's intuition to solve a case. Women's intuition? How does he know that Chu Keiwei's intuition is so accurate? No, he is mocking me. Jiang Wang, are you mocking me for solving the case by guessing? Hey, I never said that. Jiang Wang smiled and shook his head. Lin Pinggan was much easier to deal with than he thought. Jiang Wang, if you want to say something, just say it quickly. Don't talk about other things here. Minister Li knocked on the table and came to the rescue of Lin Pinggan. Minister Li of the Ministry of Justice always tried to help Lin Pinggan in his words, and he wanted to get over the case as soon as possible. It was unknown when Lin Pinggan had flattered the Ministry of Justice. Keeping in mind the plan to deal with the Ministry of Justice, Jiang Wang returns to the subject of the case. I'm not talking nonsense when I say I saw it firsthand. Does anyone remember what Song Jian's body shape was mentioned in the file just now? Jiang Wang used questions to stimulate everyone's thoughts. Li Muir was obviously a child who listened carefully and answered immediately. Master Jiang said that Song Jian is thin and has delicate bones, like a woman. Yes, it is this body type. I won't keep you in suspense. Have you ever heard of a disease called voyeurism? Voyeurism? I haven't heard of it. What about you, Lord Lu? Minister Li asked with a puzzled look on his face. I have read about this disease in a book. There was a book called Records of Doubts and Injustices in the previous dynasty that explained this disease. It said that patients often have strong anxiety due to long-term depression in life, and they have been unable to relieve it. As a result, they have the behavior of peeping at the opposite s*x, even following others, and keeping track of their whereabouts. They will get a strong sense of satisfaction, which will lead to an irresistible impulse to do it repeatedly. Jiang Wang didn't expect that Lord Lu, the prefect of Kyoto, had actually heard of voyeurism, which was much more convincing than his own explanation. Mr. Prefect is worthy of his reputation as a learned man. He knows about such an uncommon disease. I admire him. Lord Lu was obviously very pleased and straightened his collar with pride. Now that everyone knows about voyeurism, it's much easier to understand. I guess Song Jian is a voyeur. The way he found the female corpse in the toilet next door is very simple. He got into the pit under his crotch and looked at the female pit in the toilet next door. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole room was in an uproar, and everyone looked at Jiang Wang in disbelief. Li Muir covered her nose with her small hands, as if she couldn't believe that someone could do such a disgusting thing. A light bulb suddenly lit up Zhang Qingdian's mind, and his thoughts suddenly became clear. No wonder Song Jian would rather die than tell him how he found the body, and no wonder he wanted to take a shower first after the incident. So that's why. Lin Ping'an's face turned pale. After all, he had a background in solving cases, and he sorted out the details of the case in an instant. He didn't expect that it was because of an unspeakable hobby that he fell into trouble. This Song Jian really deserves to die. Snap! Lord Lu slammed the gavel to stop the noisy court. Jiang Wang, if what you said is true, why doesn't Song Jian tell you? If he tells you the reason, Lin Yunluo may not put him in jail. Lin Ping'an seemed to have grasped the key to the reversal, and hurried to meet integration. That's right, Jiang Wang, all of this is just your guess. What is voyeurism? I have never heard of this disease. And why did Song Jian refuse to say anything when he was about to be beheaded? You must have been guessing blindly. Those present were all from the Ministry of Justice and the Night Watchman, and they all had some common sense in solving cases. Now they began to doubt the accuracy of what Jiang Wang said. Even the old Duke Zhenqiu shook his head helplessly. How could someone hide the facts of the case and be unwilling to clear himself of suspicion when he was already at the point of death? Li Muir grabbed her sleeves with her little hands, feeling a little nervous for Jiang Wang. Jiang Wang seemed to be oblivious to these doubts. He quietly walked behind Zhang Qingdian, looked at the words behind him, and then looked at the plaque hanging above the head of the prefect in the court. A clear mirror hangs high. Why are there still unjust, false, and wrongful convictions under such a clear mirror, and why are there still people who would rather die than surrender? Sir Zhang, Song Jian's mother can write, right? Jiang Wang suddenly asked a strange question. Zhang Qingdian was stunned, not knowing what Jiang Wang was going to do, but he still answered, of course I will. Song's mother was once a lady from a scholarly family, but she lost her husband at a young age. She worked hard to raise her children, and she was exhausted from just trying to survive, so naturally she stopped writing. My lords, this is actually the reason. This is the reason. What does it mean? Are you not afraid of death if you have studied? The Duke of Zhenqiu was obviously not satisfied with Jiang Wang's explanation. He died because his literary reputation was not tarnished. Song's mother actually knew that her son had the bad habit of peeping, but she would rather let her son die than tell anyone about it. It's not just Song's mother. Song Jian himself thinks so too. Rather than being accused of peeping at women using the toilet and crawling into the toilet, he would rather die unjustly. Jiang Wang's few words silenced the night watchman in the government office and the officials of the Ministry of Justice. Is there really such a person? If he had a son like this, he would probably make the same choice, right? But then again, legislation has different severity levels. Even if Song Jian was guilty of peeping, he would not be sentenced to death. The root cause is that our investigators were unable to find out the truth of the matter and were eager to solve the case and gain merit, so they dragged an unrelated person into the criminal suspect list. He glanced at Lin Ping'an coldly, his face turned pale, and he wanted to refute but couldn't open his mouth. Lord Li Yan from the Ministry of Justice was secretly anxious when he saw that Lin Ping'an was forced into silence, but suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. Young Master Jiang, I still have the same question. All of this is just your speculation. Do you have any evidence to prove all of this? Lord Li from the Ministry of Justice said righteously. No matter how you argue, I just want to insist that you have no evidence. How can you defeat the genius who solved the case jointly promoted by the Ministry of Justice and the Night Watchman? Jiang Wang, you shouldn't meddle in matters that have nothing to do with you. Jiang Wang chuckled. Sure enough, the Ministry of Justice and the Night Watchman really decided to push Lin Ping'an to the stage. They were defending the male protagonist in every word. That's perfect. I'll hit you in the face too. Feel the power from the villain. Mr. Zheng, please turn around and show everyone the words on your back. Jiang Wang smiled and patted Zhang Qingtian on the shoulder, motioning him to turn around. Zhang Qingtian unexpectedly turned his naked upper body, allowing everyone in the hall to clearly see the 8 words on his back. Peek under the crotch, and clear your name after death. Boom! Everyone present was shocked again. Jiang Wang pointed at the 8 words behind Zhang Qingtian and said in a firm tone. These 8 characters were tattooed by Song Qian's mother, Song, and were carried to Beijing by Zhang Qingtian. They are also the evidence I received today. Does anyone else have any questions? Does anyone think that I am slandering your detective without any evidence? Click. Lin Ping'an couldn't control himself and crushed the sword in his hand. Chapter 23. Ah, what? Aren't the words tattooed on my back legislation for the public, a clear mirror hanging high? How come it changed? Zhang Qingtian was confused. What was going on? Did he lose his memory? Jiang Wang smiled and patted Mr. Zheng on the shoulder, then explained with a sigh. I think Mother Song is worried that you will guess the truth based on these 8 words and then stop her. I will stop him from doing anything. Mr. Jiang, please explain clearly. Frowning, Jiang Wang was struggling over whether to tell Zhang Qingtian that Song's mother would eventually choose death. But after all, he was facing an honest official who ruled for the public good. If he returned to Siping County and saw the remains of Song's mother with his own eyes, he might find it even more difficult to accept it. Mother Song tattooed you on the back and didn't tell you the truth because she wanted to die. People's words are terrible, Lord Zheng. If you succeed in overturning Song Qian's case, what kind of reputation will they be given? A bad parent? A dirty, lecherous thief? None of them will be acceptable to her. When her son was imprisoned, there was only one option she could accept, the death of both mother and son, and the exoneration after death. The law may forgive his mistake, but gossip will not. We think of it as a disease, but others don't think of it that way. Zhang Qingtian was silent, thinking back to the day when Song's mother tattooed the words on his back with tears in her eyes, but told him a white lie. Legislation is for the public good, and a clear mirror hangs high. Perhaps this is Song's mother's blessing to the person who has always helped her and persevered in pursuing the truth. Okay, Jiang boy is not bad, smarter than your father was. The Duke of Zhenqiu suddenly laughed happily and praised Jiang Wang repeatedly. Jiang Wang scratched his head in embarrassment. Isn't it obvious? I am Zhang Chuanqi, and that martial artist Jiang Wuxian knows nothing. In that case, Lord Li, please announce the verdict, or do you still want to shirk responsibility and postpone it for a few more days? Jiang Wang said neither humbly nor arrogantly, slightly cupping his fist towards the court. Ahem. Seeing that the situation was not good, Li Yan winked at Lord Lu, and Lord Lu understood what he meant. Well. In that case, I hereby declare the verdict. The facts of the Siping County Women's Restroom Corpse case are unclear, the evidence is insufficient, and the murderer is in doubt. The case is now sent back to the original location for retrial, and the Kyoto Criminal Department will personally send someone to supervise it. Song Qian, a citizen of Siping County, died unjustly due to the night watchman's error in handling the case. Now I will compensate his family with a certain amount of silver. Duke Zhenqiu, what do you think of this judgment? Except for the specific amount of silver, which still needs to be approved by the Ministry of Revenue, do other things need to be adjusted? Lord Lu smiled flatteringly. The Duke of Zhenqiu nodded, stood up and was about to leave. Duke Zhenqiu, wait a minute, everyone, why is it so disbanded? Lin Ping'an, as a night watchman, caused the unjust death of innocent people, why is he not punished? Jiang Wang saw that something was wrong and quickly stopped everyone. What's going on? Why is it wrong that Lin Ping'an is about to leave for trial? Then all my work will be in vain. Lord Lu glanced at Jiang Wang, as if a little puzzled, but still spoke. Night Watchman Lin Ping'an made a conclusion without ascertaining the facts, which resulted in a miscarriage of justice and damaged the reputation of the Night Watchman and the Ministry of Justice. He will be criticized and punished internally by the Night Watchman. Master Jiang, I have no control over how the Night Watchmen are dealt with internally. Adjourn. Jiang Wang looked at Yang Jinluo with anger. Yang Jinluo, don't you intend to give an explanation to the deceased and to Lord Zheng? Yang Jinluo glanced at Zhang Qingtian with contempt, then walked out with his men holding a knife, leaving behind only a few words. Oh, I'm sorry, Lord Zheng. I must be tired from running so far. I'll treat you to a meal when I have the chance to apologize. Just like that, a large group of people from the Ministry of Justice and the Night Watchman left. Lin Ping'an's frustration did not last for more than 3 minutes before he was invited by his colleagues to relax in a brothel. It seemed as if the sophistry in class today was just a trivial matter. Jiang Wang stood in the hall, unable to understand for a moment. Is it the end of killing a person in vain? The Duke of Zhenqiu supported his frail body and moved slowly. A carriage was waiting for him outside the door. Jiang boy, don't worry about it. Everyone here has a few innocent lives. Hey, they tried Lin Ping'an today. Are they waiting for others to try them tomorrow? Go home. The Duke of Zhenqiu came here today to take charge, seemingly to support Jiang Wang, but in the end he did not help Jiang Wang achieve the desired result. As expected, the old fox couldn't figure anything out. Master Jiang, let's go. I believe Song Jian is satisfied with this result. Zhang Qingtian put on his shirt and walked over to pat Jiang Wang on the shoulder. Sir Zhang, if there is no punishment for making mistakes, then is there any need to be right? Jiang Wang murmured with lifeless eyes, seemingly asking Zhang Qingtian, or asking himself. Zhang Qingtian hesitated for a moment and gave a simple answer, if the ruling class needs to be punished for doing something wrong, then there will be few good people in Kyoto. I once thought that justice is in the heart of the people, and that the law comes first in all trials. But there are too many people in this capital whom I cannot afford to offend. I also wanted to be a blue sky above the people's heads, just like my name suggests, but what I got in return was demoted to Zhengzhou and became a small Sima. 10 years of hard study were wasted in exchange for a burden. Don't you think it's ridiculous? Zhang Qingtian said with tears in his eyes. Jiang Wang suddenly realized, I almost forgot, I was also a bad boy before, riding in the downtown area and hurting people. The reason I was not punished was because I took advantage of my father's privilege. How come now that you have gotten the advantage, you are thinking of becoming a beacon for the people? But I feel sick when I see these people colluding with each other, and I feel annoyed when I see those Confucian scholars acting so arrogantly. Since I am a bad boy, I will educate them harshly in my own way. As long as I feel happy, it doesn't matter if I am regarded as a beacon. I am a beacon to the people and a dark lamp to the powerful and corrupt scholars. His mood suddenly became clear, and coupled with the suppression of Lin Ping'an, Supreme Bone became hot again. This time, something was not right with the Supreme Bone's ironing, so Jiang Wang hurriedly inspected it from inside. The Supreme Bone, which originally emitted a slightly fluorescent color, actually emitted a golden color. Under the golden light, Jiang Wang discovered for the first time that there was a sword mark on his Supreme Bone. The sword mark could only be vaguely seen under the golden light. It was not long, only about half an inch, with smooth edges and a flat cut. Jiang Wang had no idea about the sword scar on his sternum. Could it be that he was stabbed when he was a child? He focused his attention on the sword mark for a moment, and suddenly, a sword shadow flew out from the mark. Jiang Wang tried his best to dodge, but time seemed to stand still and he could only watch the sword pierce into his forehead. One move, Tai Ping sword. It was like an ancient sound from the ancient times exploding in his mind, and a profound understanding of sword Dao was instilled into his soul. It seems that the sword should accompany me for the rest of my life, and I should use the sword to prove the supreme way. A kind of naive and weird idea was born in his mind, which was hard to shake off and seemed to be as it should be. It seemed like a long time, but in fact it was only a moment. In the eyes of Li Muir and the others, the young master just stood there in a daze for a while, and then he turned back into the young master he used to be. Master Zheng, please don't be so depressed. When do you plan to go back? Zhang Qingtian wiped the tears from his eyes and said with a forced smile, we will leave tomorrow morning. Master Jiang, thank you very much for today. Leaving so early? Let's have a drink in the evening. I'll take you there. Chapter 24. On the bank of the Kyoto River, groups of people gathered in twos and threes on a swaying boat. Zhang Yu hung the lantern in his hand on the mast to illuminate Li Muir, who was pouring wine. Jiang Wang sat at the small square table at the bow, looking up at the night view of Kyoto. Master Zheng, you have been away from Kyoto for so many years. Do you miss the night scenery of Kyoto? Zheng Qingtian thanked Li Muir for filling the glass with wine. As he smelled the sweet-scented osmanthus scent in the glass, memories came to his mind. It would be a lie to say I don't miss it. In the first few years after leaving Kyoto, I would climb up to the roof every night, pour 2 cups of bitter wine, and look towards my hometown. I raised the wine glass in my hand and drank it all in one gulp. The floral fragrance in my mouth also had a faint bitterness. But the night sky becomes boring after looking at it for too long. Whether it's Kyoto or Zhangzhou, the night is the same. There's no difference, right? Jiang Wang smiled and finished the wine in the glass, then picked up the jug and filled it up for Zhang Qingtian himself. Sir Zheng, do you hope to return to Kyoto to serve as an official one day? Zhang Qingtian smiled helplessly and shook his head. Of course I want to come back, but as a 9th grade Sima, when will I be able to wait until the day I can return to Kyoto? What if I could give you this opportunity? The boat, which had been rocking all the time, slowly stopped, and Zhang Feng stood at the stern holding the oars, on guard. The entire cabin fell silent, leaving only the whisper of the summer wind and the ripples of the water. Master Zhang, this is not in line with my philosophy. I just want to rely on my own abilities. One day, I will be valued by His Majesty. Wait until you die, Lord Zheng. You don't really think the Empress will care about the feelings of low-level officials like you, do you? After the death of the previous emperor, the Empress succeeded to the throne. She valued poetry, songs, and essays, and Confucian scholars. She neglected scholars, farmers, merchants, practical skills, and military officers. In the 5 years since the Empress took the throne, she has reduced her military by 800,000, and handed the northern border over to the sects to govern. Only the king of Zhenbei is left to guard the Hang Pass in the entire north. In the 10 years since I took the throne, I have laid off 8,742 officials, but their salaries have not increased but decreased. Take you, the 9th grade Sima, for example. Your salary has been reduced again and again in the past 10 years, from 5 taels and 2 cents to less than 3 taels now. Zhang Qingtian was silent. He might have realized that life was becoming increasingly difficult before, but he had never analyzed it as carefully as Jiang Wang. They built a large number of academies for corrupt scholars, taught them to be loyal to the emperor and love the country, and made all the students of Dixuan compete for the quota of the imperial examination. They divided the power of the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of War, and instead set up direct night watchmen, which made the functions of the upper and lower levels chaotic. I don't know how much money was spent. But what happened? Night watchmen can interfere in the affairs of any of the 6 ministries and have the power to execute first and report later. It's okay for upper-level officials, but for lower-level officials, their homes were confiscated for no reason in prefectures and counties. How many officials can be killed or alive? How many of them can report to the emperor and hand over the complaint to His Majesty? Hey, Jiang Wang let out a long breath and drank the wine in the glass in one gulp. The evening breeze blew the side of the boat, swaying naturally with the water flow. Zhang Qingtian's heart was confused, and Li Muir's heart was also confused. Maybe my father and mother also saw this truth clearly, so they led the tribe to rebel. Life in the tribe has indeed become more and more difficult. Li Muir lowered her head and clenched her pink fists. Isn't the heat enough? Zhang Qingtian still doesn't understand what I mean? Jiang Wang sighed helplessly in his heart. He really wanted to accept Zhang Qingtian as his son. This man had a lot of resentment in his heart, was upright in his conduct, and looked like Bao Zheng. He really liked him. Unfortunately, it seems that I was too impatient and pushed too hard. Master Zheng, you don't have to reply to me in a hurry. You can tell me the answer next year during the imperial examination. Do you need me to help you change the tattoo on your back? Although it was asked by Song's mother, it doesn't look very elegant. Zhang Qingtian gratefully offered Jiang Wang a glass of wine, but still refused. Young Master Jiang, I am not a respectable person to begin with. Mother Song's words will remain on my back. Legislation is for the public, and a clear mirror hangs high. If they were really tattooed on me, I probably wouldn't be able to carry these 8 words. Peeping under the crotch, clearing the injustice after death. These 8 words behind me can always remind me that when handling a case, I must take the perspective of the person involved into account. Seeing that Zhang Qingtian was unwilling to remove it, Jiang Wang stopped forcing him. Zhang Feng continued to row the boat, and Li Muir continued to pour wine. The two of them raised their glasses and drank, as if they had forgotten the unpleasantness just now. Alas, although the scenery is beautiful when boating, drinking and appreciating the moon, it lacks some music, Jiang Wang sighed. Unfortunately, Li Muir is not good at music either. Perhaps it is because beautiful women always have some shortcomings. Li Muir is only good at 6 out of 7 aspects of music, but she knows nothing about it. Thump, 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 thump. A faint sound of music suddenly came from the river in the night. Jiang Wang listened carefully. The music sounded like a icy spring in a deep valley or a pipa, which was very pleasant to the ear. I saw a small brown boat appearing on the river, with only a boatman and a woman sitting at the bow playing the pipa on board. Boatman, come here. Jiang Wang called out. The boatman rowed the boat and slowly came to Jiang Wang's boat. I am Yun Yin, greeting all the lords. Jiang Wang subconsciously looked her up and down and found that the woman had thick rouge on her face and was full of fragrance, but there were white hair hanging from her temples and wrinkles at the corners of her eyes that could not be concealed. Ms. Yun Yin, I hear that your piano playing has the style of a great master. I guess you must have learned from a great master before. How did you end up singing and playing on a boat? Yun Yin lowered her eyebrows and a few tears fell. I was originally a musician in Kyoto, and I studied under a famous family. But after the Red Sheep Rebellion that year, the rich and powerful did not dare to go to places of entertainment. After the incident, I was no longer young and beautiful, so I married a businessman who was quite nice to me. But during the tax case this year, His Majesty ordered a thorough investigation. My husband was implicated and was severely tortured by the night watchman. He eventually died in prison. We have no children, and after my husband died, I was driven out of my husband's home. Now I can only accompany my old father on a boat trip in the river, singing and begging for tips from the nobles passing by. Just one word, and the boat was silent. He is another unfortunate person who is caught up in the general trend, and it is related to his father. In that case, play a piece of music. Let us listen to the music of the famous singers of the past. Yun Yin's 10 fingers brushed across the pipa, and a sad and mournful melody wandered in the night sky. After the song, Jiang Wang remained silent. Zhang Qingtian's face was covered with tears, and Li Muir's eyes were also red. Thank you Miss Yun Yin for the song. I am not talented, but I am willing to write a poem. When Zhang Feng heard this, he was instantly shocked. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Ever since he witnessed the young master composing a poem while eating hot pot, he learned to carry a pen, ink, paper and inkstone with him. Now that Jiang Wang had just opened his mouth to talk about writing a poem, Zhang Feng presented him with the prepared paper and pen. I haven't asked for it yet. You want me to have fewer lines, right? He, master, write quickly. Inspiration is the most important thing. Rolling his eyes at Zhang Feng, Jiang Wang spread out the paper, Li Muir ground it for him, and then he picked up the pen and wrote 3 big words on the paper. Pipa Song. A vision occurred. Chapter 25. Inside the Bailu Academy, the great scholar Wei was sitting on the armchair, admiring the answer papers handed in by the students. The classroom test question he left for the students today was nothing is more important in learning than respecting teachers. Serving teachers is like serving your father. He was very satisfied with the students' answers, but they were all too stereotyped, full of respect for teachers, without any novelty. He was a little tired of reading them after so many years. A cold night breeze blew into the room through the open window, bringing with it the sound of musical instruments. Wei Dara was furious and slammed the table and stood up. Who is playing vulgar instruments in the academy? This is a place for saints and sages. You cannot play things that have nothing to do with learning. The great scholar's angry words frightened the students so much that they trembled in fear and stood in the courtyard looking at each other, wondering who was playing the piano and making music. But there were also some clever students who noticed something suspicious and bravely reminded others. Wei Daru, this is a song that seems to have been brought down from heaven. Just as Wei Daru was about to curse and say that it was nonsense, the bell of the National Academy rang, causing him to swallow his curse. The song is melodious and mournful, it must have been composed by a great poet. I wonder which great poet created the poetry of Ming Zhou. It is a cause for celebration. Wei Daru praised with a guilty conscience, but he had been cursing in his heart. There were so many good poems and articles this month, why couldn't he write one himself? Fortunately, it's just Ming Zhou, it shouldn't be another national poem, right? On the bank of the Kyoto River, as the three words Jiang Wang fell, the sound of the pipa became long and the wind became faint, and the sound blended into the evening breeze. The evening breeze stirred the river, but Jiang Wang's boat remained steadily on the bank. I send off my guests at night at the Sunyang River, maple leaves and reeds are rustling in the autumn. The river in Dixuan Kyoto is also called the Sunyang River, but it doesn't rhyme if I change it randomly. The host dismounted and the guest got on the boat, he raised the wine to drink but there was no music. She finally came out after much anticipation, still holding the pipa and half covering her face. A few lines of poetry fell on the paper. I thought it was a 7-character quatrain, but I didn't expect that this was just the beginning. When Yunyan heard that she was mentioned, her red lips curled up slightly and she covered her lips with her small hands in disbelief. The surface of the river was rippling slightly, and the fish poked their heads out of the water, as if they could understand human poetry. Zhang Qingtian accidentally knocked over the wine glass and hurriedly wiped the table, fearing that the wine would wet Jiang Wang's paper, but he found that there was no wine in the glass anymore, and the empty glass had just fallen. Dozens of huge bells rang at the same time in the Qiuashiwan, and the rumbling sound was endless. The students of Bailu Academy covered their ears and shouted at each other. This is already a national treasure, why hasn't it ended yet? Is this poem so long? A learned student explained, if you don't want to be deaf, just plug your ears and bear it. I think this poem has just begun. Jiang Wang has entered a state of oblivion at this moment. Zhang Qingtian's experience, the excitement of officialdom's intrigue, and Yunyan's tragic life have made him feel strong empathy, as if he was personally brought into another world, the poet of the Tang dynasty. After he drank the wine, Li Muir filled it up for him. He drank another glass and it was filled up again. After 3 glasses, he began to write quickly. Turning the axis and plucking the strings 3 or 2 times, the emotion is there before the tune is formed. The sound of the big strings is as loud as heavy rain, while the sound of the small strings is as soft as whispers. The sounds of the strings are mixed together, and pearls, big and small, fall on a jade plate. When the song ends, the plucked instruments are carefully put away, and the sound of the 4 strings is like tearing silk. The boats on the east and west are silent, only the autumn moon in the middle of the river is white. His talent seems inexhaustible. Strange phenomena occurred frequently in the night sky. Amidst the golden light, 7 divine maidens dressed in colorful feathered robes flew down from the sky. They danced gracefully to the sound of the piano. This dance style had never been seen in the world before, and it seemed to come from the immortal world. The divine maidens, with their graceful figures and phoenix crowns and bridal robes, have faces so exquisite that it is impossible to look directly at them. Their every frown and smile touches people's heartstrings. And this is just the beginning of the dance. Their figures pass through the night sky of Kyoto and finally land on the city wall of Kyoto. In the city of Kyoto, all the brothels, pleasure boats, and entertainment venues stopped their performances and gathered in the streets to enjoy this divine song from heaven. The Empress stood in front of the window of her bedroom, where she could enjoy the dancing of the 7 divine maidens on the city wall. The sound of the pipa was clear and melodious, and she unconsciously tapped the windowsill with her fingertips. Chi Dara was a master who had attained enlightenment through painting. After witnessing the 9 days of Divine Maiden, he excitedly picked up his paintbrush to copy it, but when he was painting the finishing touch, he vomited 3 liters of blood and roared in dissatisfaction. This painting should not be presented to the world. Suddenly, the sound of the piano took a sharp turn and the sound of golden swords and iron horses was heard. As if the cups were smashed as a signal, the silver bottles at the banquet were broken, and the 7 dancing divine maidens tore off their gorgeous clothes, revealing the sharp swords wrapped around their waists. On the city wall, long swords were drawn and spears rang out. Golden light transformed into soldiers to block the way. 7 divine maidens raised their swords to fight back. The interweaving figures seemed like a second dance. The shouts of killing shook the sky, and golden soldiers fell down from time to time. Sizzle! After a sound like the breaking of guitar strings and the shredding of clothes, the fighting on the city wall suddenly stopped, the divine maidens slowly dissipated, and everything seemed to have returned to calm. This is a poem passed down from generation to generation that can be used for killing. The right Prime Minister arrived at the Empress's bedroom at some point and happened to see the divine maidens killing scene. Right Prime Minister, do you know how many years it will take for a poem like this to be produced? The Empress left the bed, sat on the phoenix chair, and asked in a cold voice. The right Prime Minister lowered his head, thought for a moment, and gave a conservative answer. 7 divine maidens killed the enemy, hiding in the dance music, and the poem was passed down throughout the world. Your Majesty, this is something that only happens once every 500 years. The Empress tapped her temple and said thoughtfully, it's rare to see such a man in 500 years. I'll take him into the palace no matter which academy he comes from. The right Prime Minister nodded in agreement and arranged for people to go to the Sunyang River to look for the poet. Inside the Bailu Academy, students were lying on the ground one after another. Some were stunned by the sound of the bell, some fainted from fear at the sight of the weapons and cavalry, and some were bewitched by the divine maiden and were having erotic dreams. Tonight in Kyoto, many zither masters destroyed their zithers and cut the strings, and never left their houses again. And by the riverside in Kyoto, Jiang Wang is not over yet. He lifted up the entire wine jug, tilted his head back and drank it all in one gulp, a feeling of resentment and desolation welling up in his heart. He put down the plectrum and inserted it into the strings, straightened his clothes and composed himself. I sighed when I heard the pipa, and sighed again when I heard these words. We are both wanderers in this world, so why should we know each other when we meet? The sound was so sad and unlike the previous one, everyone in the room burst into tears when they heard it again. Who cried the most among the people present? The Sima of Zhangzhou had his shirt wet. When the poem is finished, all things mourn. The bell of the National Academy did not ring, and just when the students were relieved, the mournful sound of a qiang flute was heard first. Afterwards, all the pipa, erhu, chime bells, flute, dice, harp, suan, sheng and drums in the city started playing together, but the air was filled with mournful sounds. The Duke of Zhenqiu stood on the city wall, looking towards the north, tears already streaming down his face as he listened to the sad music. I am willing to fight to the death, why do you say I am old? There were cries of grief in Kyoto, as if the late emperor had passed away. A stream of righteous energy rose up, and figures flew out from their respective mansions and headed straight for the Sunyang River. The right Prime Minister activated the second-grade sub-saint's vast righteousness chi, and the sound spread throughout Kyoto. Your Majesty likes the pipa song very much. Please come to the palace to read it. The poem is sad and mournful. Your Majesty knows that the Changel ceremony is approaching. It is not appropriate for the capital to cry. From today on, the capital's taxes will be exempted for 1 year. As soon as he finished speaking, all the people in the city knelt down to express their gratitude, but the powerful people in the dark just watched coldly. At the head of Sunyang River, 2 literary minds condensed with golden light flew out from the paper under Jiang Wang's pen and merged into the chests of Yunyan and Zhang Qingtian. 2 boom sounds. 2 completely opposite vast righteousness chi gushed out from them. The makeup on Yunyan's face faded naturally, revealing skin as smooth as that of a young girl. Zhang Qingtian's back, which had been crooked, slowly straightened, and the confidence and elegance that had been lost for many years suddenly appeared. The 2 of them actually skipped the stage of establishing their own opinions and achieved the 5th grade of Confucianism and Taoism. Both their lifespans and talents increased a lot. Plop. On the bow of the boat, they both knelt down and bowed deeply to King Jiang. The good fortune of Yunyan today is given by you, and I will repay you with my life in the future. Thank you, young Master Jiang, for sending me to Confucianism. King Yun will regard you as a teacher and respect you as a father in the future. Jiang Wang smiled, raised his hand slightly and lifted the 2 of them up out of thin air. I'm drunk, so I'll say thank you tomorrow. Someone's coming. Zhang Feng, hurry up and row the boat. Let's have 2 more drinks in the cabin. The small boat drifted away in the night, and the people who came to look for it found nothing. From then on, the legend of Saint's poem entering the sky spread in Kyoto. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.